Most respected Director of IQAC, Professor Arivudanambi sir, learned resource person, and my dear participants, good evening to all. Today we are on the 6th day of this short-term course on yoga. Let us start the program with a prayer. Prayer by Susila Madam.
Very good evening to one and all. Shahanavavatu Shahanau Gunatu Shahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Today we have with us Dr. Arpit Kumar Dubey from as a resource person. Let me have the pleasure of introducing him. He's the Assistant Professor of Sanskrit. He's faculty in charge of Language Department, MSc Yoga Course Coordinator, in charge of the University Affiliated Courses for MDNIY. His areas of interest and specialization are Sanskrit language, yoga philosophy and practice, Indian philosophy, and Indian positive psychology. He has worked as assistant professor from 2017 onwards. Before he was working as on contract and as guest faculty. His major contribution to the institute is he has played a key role under the guidance of as a director, MDNIY New Delhi, to introduce MSc Yoga and PG Diploma on Yoga Therapy for medicos and paramedicos. He has delivered lectures in various universities and institutions. He is a member of the Board of Studies of the Yoga Department in Ambedkar University of Social Sciences and Yoga Department Swami Rama Himalayan University. He has 6 research papers in journals of repute. He has authored a book in 1 chapter and paper presented in conference proceedings 1. He has presented his research papers in national international conferences and attended 15 workshops. Such a dynamic person is here to handle the session on yoga as positive psychology. On behalf of the IQAC of Annamalai University, a warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so much, madam. I hope I'm clearly audible to all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, madam. And it's my proud privilege. And I again extend my warm thanks to the Annamalai University and IQAC team and the yoga department of this prestigious university. Very first, I would like to pray and my gratitude towards that supreme reality which is governing each and every activity in our life, whatever we are perceiving and observing in our day-to-day life. Second, I would like to thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor of this prestigious university, Annamalai University, the directors of IQAC team, and the director of this yoga department. And I'm very thankful to Susila Madam. She coordinated very well with me to be here and present my thoughts, view, understanding on yoga as a positive psychology. So let's start. So I have prepared some PPTs to give a brief answers on this topic. Before I proceed, I would like to make one disclaimer that I'm not a master of yoga, I'm not a master of psychology, but I'm an active learner of yoga and psychology, and hope and I pray that you all will enjoy and you all will be enlightening by my word, whatever I understood, whatever I have my own discoveries, which I'm going to share with you all. I hope my PPTs are visible to all. Madam, can you confirm that my PPTs are visible on the screen? So I think my PPT is visible to all. So now I'm going to start. If anybody will confirm, then it may be perfect for me, because it's not so clear for me that yes, some of participants are, I think they are raising the hand. PPT is visible, sir?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So now I can proceed, madam. Okay. So as you are aware that the topic for today's session is a yoga positive psychology. So I, before proceeding, going in deep discussion on this topic, I would like to make some generalized statement. So the first statement is that yoga and psychology both are synonyms. It means in the broader term, yoga and psychology is working on same field. As per my own understanding, yoga is a scientific study of mind, its behavior and management. Same way, psychology is also defined the scientific study of mind, its activities and its management. So I always feel, and it's my broader understanding, that these two terms are the synonym. So either we can adopt the yoga or psychology. But what is the positive psychology? That later in detail I will discuss. But here it is that it's a new branch of the psychology which is discussing the higher possibilities of human existence. Either we are on this earth just for the food and just to sleep, just for the house, or there is some particular purpose. To find out a particular purpose, the positive psychology is much emphasized on that there should be a particular purpose and we should explore that purpose, and that called the ultimate. And this preface will be explained in detail. So we always start the yoga discussion with a prayer. So I'm not going to chant here the prayer, but I will discuss the philosophy, what is called the yoga as a positive psychology through this prayer. This is very well-known prayer, and it's a part of common yoga protocol, which is prepared by the Morarji Desai and which is practiced across the globe on the occasion of International Day of Yoga on 21st June. So in this prayer, Sangachadhum, Sambadadhum, Sambo Manansi Janatam, Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate. So the message of this prayer is very important, that may our action, words and thoughts be beneficial to each other as were our ancestors, so that there may harmony in this universe. It means there are three levels of our existence. One is a mental, second is a verbal, third is a physical level. So whatever we are doing mentally, that should be harmonized. Whatever we are doing verbally, that should be harmonized, and whatever we are doing physically, that should be harmonized. Because at the level of thought, at the level of word, at the level of action, if there is a harmony, then we can proceed. We can live a holistic life. Holistic life means there is a health, there is a happiness, there is a well-being, there is a wellness, everything. So this prayer is giving a sutra how to live. And this is not any kind of new invention. Already our ancestors lived in the same way, that they have a thought which is beneficial for all. They used the word which was beneficial for all, and they acted like that, that it is which called the mutual benefit. because our existence is a mutually dependent. An individual cannot survive without the help of others. Other may be any person, other may be any animal, other may be any plant, etc., other may be any natural resources. So such types of broad vision has been taken by our ancestor. Same we should also, as it called the positive psychology. Positive psychology means broad thinking, broad vision, broad goal, broad aim. And that is only possible when we are preparing at the level of mind. So we start from Sambho Manansi Janatam. That at the level of mind, at the level of belief, at the level of ideas, at the level of thought, there should be harmony. No, because thoughts are invisible. Mind is totally invisible. No one can guess whatever is going in anybody individual's mind, but that we can judge, that we can have some knowledge through his words or action. So there are one part is invisible, which called the mind. The functioning of mind is the thinking, remembering, memorizing, etc. There are so many functions of mind. But how we can identify somebody's thoughts are good? If he or she is using a positive word, he or she is acting in a universal way, that his act, her act is beneficial for that particular and also for other. Next, most important is that if we are adopting such types of just a philosophy, just a ideology, it will solve many our problems. Whatever we are nowadays facing, either the problem at the mental level or physical level, either it is the Vyadhi or Adi, whatever it is called, it is due to some of time we are having in the wrong pathway due to wrong thoughts. So first importance, yoga as a positive psychology, that we should adopt a positive attitude, and positive attitude toward the individual benefits and toward the universal benefit. If such ideology, such a belief, such a thought, such a philosophy can be adopted by us, then we can claim we are on the path of yoga, which is known as a positive psychology. Mean we are not just a human. The life is not just to be human. According to Aurobindo, Sri Aurobindo, a very great philosopher, he said, we should put effort to be superhuman being. Superhuman being is nothing else. There are no physical, any kind of transformation. There is only and only one transformation, and that called the mental transformation. And that happens, that start from the thought. Further, that thought becomes the thinking, thinking becomes the belief pattern becomes the ideology converted into our action, and that becomes the customs, rituals, etc. So everything is starting from the thought. So if we are able to manage our thought, if we are able to broaden our thinking, then everything will be managed. So we cannot change much more in the outer world, in the visible world, but we can make so many changes in the invisible world, which is called the core form of any individual's personality. Next, one of the also very famous prayer, it is not chanted very frequently, but it's very important from the yoga, the psychology point of view. Durjanaha sajjano bhuya sajjanaha santim apnuat santo mucchet bandhebhyo muktah chanyan vimoche. What is the psychology and what is the positive psychology? Here is a very clear-cut distinction between psychology and positive psychology. First is a durjanaha sajjano bhuyat. A person who's the act, who's the words, because we are not aware about the thinking. Only visible part of anybody's personality can be assessed. So a person whose words are not good, whose actions are not good, not benefit for that particular, not benefit for that. So we say that person is not good. That technically called the durjana. Durjanaha sajjano bhuya. So first emphasis of yoga is that such types of person should be transformed in the wicked person should become the virtuous. It means a person who is not following the universal law and order, that person should start to following that universal law and order. First step. So a person who was not behaving according to nature, he should or she should start to behaving according to nature, and that will change from very beginning, that called the thought. Next, sajjana santim apnat. It is not just our primary goal that a person was not organized, now he become organized, so that's enough. No, there is another version of the upgradation. What is that version? Sajjana santim apnat. A person who is organized, he should to a much more upgradation. What is the much more upgradation? That is called the Santima Apna, the higher state of consciousness, where he feels very cool, calm, positive. So that state he or she should achieve. Next, if a person achieves that state, next is the Santo Muccheda Bandhebhyo. Then we should more put effort. We have to put more effort for further progress. What is that further progress? That we should start our journey beyond mind, which also called the state, which is further known as the no mind state, and that is called the Bandhebhyo Muccheda. The all kind of suffering, the all kind of misery, the all kind of problem, whatever we are facing in our day-to-day life. Why? Because we have certain preconditions, pre-assumptions, and we are behaving with that precondition, that pre-assumption. That's why we are not, sometimes we feel we are not fit in the scenario in any society. Why? Because there are three ways of observing any object, and there are three ways of behaving. First is the way which called the rag. We are behaving with due to certain pre-likes. We fix it. Second one is the dvesh. We are behaving with certain pre-dislike. And third is the dvesh, without any attachment, being a neutral. Being a neutral means not attracted, not able to attract or not able to interact with the outer world. That called the udasin bhava. It means the neutral state. Beyond the fourth stage is a stage of yoga when we are physically, mentally aware and positive, but not prejudiced, not preconditioned. It means we are trying to observe object as it is, not as per our like, dislike, or being just away from that. So these two shlokas give a brief introduction of brief preface, what called the yoga as a positive psychology. The essence of these two slides is that yoga as a positive psychology just give a message that we have to organize our thought, we have to broaden, we have to make a broad vision, and if we are able in such level of planning, such level of implementation, automatically our visible personality and even the reality, the outer will be also changed. Now, there are three key points. One, first is what is yoga, that I will discuss in detail. Second, what is the psychology. Third, positive psychology, and how yoga is evolved as a positive psychology. Detail I will not discuss. So, in very generalized way, yoga is an ancient Indian art and science of holistic living. If some is a very layman person and he or she is want to know what is exactly yoga, so for that person, yoga is an ancient Indian art and science of holistic living. More detailed way, yoga is a set of physical, mental, spiritual practices which leads towards the health, happiness, and harmony. Now you all are, some of you may be directly from yoga, some of maybe from the different field. So I would like to tell, and maybe the earlier speaker may also explain this topic. Yoga word has three meanings. Meaning of yoga is a Sanyam, control. Second meaning of yoga is Samadhi, higher state of consciousness. And third, yoga means union or yoga. So these are not three meanings. These are the three steps of yoga. So to understand the nuances or the exact meaning of yoga, we have to pass through these three phases. So first phase is the Sanyama, second phase is the Samadhi, and third phase is the union or yoga. But this not seems a very attractive word for us. If somebody says, okay, just follow yoga, you will get the Sanyam. We are not much interested. Somebody says, oh, just follow the path of yoga and you will get the Samadhi. We are not interested. If somebody says, follow the path of yoga and you will get the union, we are not attracted and not very much interested. But somebody says, follow the path of yoga, you will get health. You will be just aware. Yeah, very important, because everybody wants health. If somebody says, follow the path of yoga, you will get the happiness. Everybody will be interested. And somebody says, follow the path of yoga, you will get the harmony. Everybody will be understand, because these are the modern terminology. If we talk on the in the sense of using the term Sanyam, Samadhi, yoga, no one is much interested. These are the outdated terminology. But what are the modern terminology for these words? Health, happiness, and harmony. These are the three basic needs of each and every individual. If a person wants to holistic life, what is the holistic life? If there is a health, there is a happiness, there is a harmony, definitely that these three collectively called the holistic living, holistic life, or the well-being. So Sanyam is the source, or Sanyam is the key of the health. Sanyam means the control. If we have a great control over our diet, our sleep, our exercise, our mental activities, our physical activities, then definitely we will be the health. So Sanyam, control is the key of the health. If you want to be healthy, just follow the Sanyam, certain rule and regulation. Samadhi means a meditative state is the key of happiness. Happiness is two types of. One, happiness is an objective happiness, which called the objective joy, means achieving some particular object, interacting with some person, doing some particular activity, we feel pleasure. But there is another higher type of happiness which called the subjective joy. But just be silent, connect with yourself, and you will get the ultimate happiness that will enlarge four and four moreover. And the last but the most important is the harmony. Harmony means why? Because we are living in a particular body, we are living in a particular family, we are living in a particular society, we are living in a particular country, and for all existence, these all are the essential. I cannot live without body. I cannot live without the family. I cannot live without the country, etc. So harmony means tuning with each and every layer of personality. So first, tuning body, senses, mind, intellect, and consciousness. If there is a tuning, it's called the harmony. Tuning means hierarchy. Next level is the tuning with the family members. Next, tuning with the society, tuning with the country. So universal tuning that is required to be fit in the society, and that in more detail I will discuss when I am going to throw light on the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali. Next, there are three broad branches of yoga, which are known as the yoga philosophy, yoga practices, and yoga therapy. So the first branch, or the primary phase of yoga was the philosophy. What is the philosophy? Philosophy is the process of observation, perception, analyzation, and expression. Everybody is adopting philosophy, everybody is involved in philosophy, but nobody knows that he is also a philosopher. Everybody is observing, everybody is perceiving, everybody is analyzing, and everybody is expressing. So what is yoga philosophy? Swasthasya samadhi lava. The purpose of this yoga is a healthy person must explore the higher possibilities of that individual. A healthy person means a person who is physically fit, mentally fit. He should not remain that level. The ultimate, he should explore the higher aspects of one life. What is that higher aspect? In the yoga, we call the samadhi. In the modern terminology, we call it the happiness. Happiness is what? There are two, as I already mentioned, that two types of happiness. One is the objective. If I want to a good pen and I just purchase a pen of Parker, and then I feel, yeah, now I have sufficient. But after one day, today, I feel that Parker is a useless. So my happiness is now vanished, destroyed. So yoga taught that you should achieve happiness which is prolonged for more time. So what is that? That is the subjective joy, and that subjective happiness, and how that can be explored. That can be explored through the dhyana, through the particular meditation. And if we are able to attain, if we are able to experience that happiness, then this outer world will be just a play for us. We have an inner strength, inner control, everything. So first is the yoga philosophy. And broadly talking, that yoga philosophy is the yoga's positive psychology. Mean here we are not stuck on this physical world. We are putting effort to explore beyond this physical world, because sometimes we feel that we are body, sometimes we feel that we are senses, sometimes we feel that there's a mind, intellect, ego, etc. But sometimes we feel no, we are beyond all, because we are the observer of our ego, our intellect, our mind, our body. It means there's something beyond that. What is that? That can be experienced only at the stage of samadhi, and that is the ultimate goal of the yoga. Second, yoga is a practice which is known as the Hatha Yoga. Swasthasya swastha rakshanam, promotion of health. A healthy person should remain healthy. For that, he or she has to follow certain rules and regulations, certain practices, certain modification in the lifestyle. And the most recent field of the yoga is a therapy that now yoga is working on also several lifestyle disorders and several chronic disease and disorder. And the purpose of yoga therapy is that a person who is not physically or mentally healthy or fit, so by practicing yoga, by adopting different lifestyle which is recommended by the yoga, a person can feel healthy. From health to maintain the health, from maintaining health just to from the higher aspects of the individual, which is known as a superhuman being. It is not, as I already stated, that it is not any kind of physical changes that I will get 4 hands and 7 legs being a superhuman. No, just I will experience that subjective enjoyment, which is technically called the Anand. And that is the ultimate search of our rishis. And they profound it and they found it and they declare that that joy, that Anand, that subjective joy can be achieved through the yoga, through the dhyan, etc. Later we'll discuss more. Next, Acharya Patanjali defined yoga in very broader way. What is the yoga? Yoga is a discipline. Atha yoganusasana. But what kind of discipline? Then he again explained, yogaschit vritti nirodha. Yoga is a mental discipline. Next, tada drashtuhu sarupe avasthanam. If somebody says that if I go for the mental discipline, what I will achieve? So Acharya Patanjali say that you will experience your essence, which is the burning desire continuously there. And that burning desire can be only destroyed when we experience our true self, which is called the drashta bhav, the observer. And if somebody says that I'm not interested to control my mind, to discipline my mind, then what will happen? So Acharya Patanjali says, vritti sarupya miratra, that your personality always will be fluctuating according to outer world. If in the outer world, things are according to you, favorable things, then you will be cool, calm, positive, and very organized. If things will be gone there very in the negative sense, and sometimes situation will be not in your favor, then again your personality will be shaking. So it is your decision. You want to be a stable personality person, a united personality person, or a fragmented personality person. So if you want to be a united person or a stable person, then you have to start your mental discipline. And how that mental discipline can be started, it further in more detail, later slide I will discuss. Next is a psychology and positive psychology. So this is just a very basic kind of a statement which give a basic understanding what is psychology. So psychology is the scientific study of the mind and behavior. And what is the positive psychology? Positive psychology is the scientific study of what makes life most worth living. Most worth living means once achieve for more. Now, whatever we are achieving, that achievement is a temporary. Because before achieving anything, that particular object, that particular person, that particular activity seems more attractive. But once I achieve, immediately my mind is saying, no, it is not more important. Again, we have to go for more and more search. So positive psychology is all about that finding that anand, that subjective joy. It means there is a complete purpose, and if we are able to find out that purpose, so it called the positive psychology, means living with a vision. Next, how we can say yoga as a positive psychology. So there are the term for yoga, the positive psychology used traditionally called the adhyatma sadhana. Spiritualism, spirituality. What is the spiritualism or spirituality? The essence of human being is the spirit, and the management of spirit called the spirituality. Means total personality management. Next, what is the yoga as a positive psychology? The art of living an organized and purposeful life called the adhyatma sadhana, or yoga as a positive psychology. Further, how we can say in that visible world, we are living a very organized or very purposeful life. So for that, it is stated that make every action, either at the level of mind, at the level of words, at the level of body, make every action for the upgradation of self and the betterment of the universe. And if we are able to do so, then we can declare we are adhyatmic, we are spiritual. We are in the state which is called the higher state of the mind. Next, as I already mentioned, but more detailed way we can know from here that there are 3 aspects of our personality. One is the visible aspect, which is called the body, senses, and the other outer layer or this world. Second layer of our personality, which is not visible, invisible, but it is matter of experience, which is called the mind, intellect, and ego. These 3 are not visible, but these 3 are the integral part of our body, but we can experience that now my mind is working, my mind is fluctuating, my intellect is working, my ego is working. So, and third, but the most important aspect is the which called the spirit, consciousness, soul, which is totally unknown. It exists, but it is unknown because the observer of all these three, either it is mind, intellect, ego, body, etc. Somebody is beyond all these. So the beyond is, which is generally totally unknown for us. How we can make it known us, how we can experience it, it is all about the yoga. Yoga is a journey from which starts from very outer layer. In the further slides it is mentioned, from Ashtanga Yoga, Yam and Niyam is to manage very outer layer of every individual and just go the most inner layer, which is called the Samadhi. And once we are in a state of Samadhi, Samadhi is a higher state of concentration, higher state of awareness, then we can experience our true nature, true essence. And how in this context, Bhagavad Gita put very positive word that Uddharet Atmanam Uddharet Atmana Atmanam Natmanam Avasadayet Atmaiv Atmano Bandhur Atmaiv Ripuratmana. This is called the source of all kind of freedom. Across globe, there is a kind of discussion and discourses going on the freedom, that there should be freedom. There are very layers of freedom. But the Bhagavad Gita, which is the very prominent text of the yoga philosophy, yoga practices, that declare that everybody is free. And once we are free, then we are responsible. Because every individual is free to whatever we want to do, we can do. But Gita is saying, just put positive effort. Uddharet Atmanam. Whatever you are doing, that should be self-upgradation, not degradation. Because these two are possibility. If we are guided, if we are planned, if we are managed or maintained or supervised by other, then that person will decide what we have to do. But once we said that we want freedom, so if we want freedom, then we have to take the responsibility. So Gita said, you have a freedom, you can upgrade yourself, you can degrade yourself. You can make yourself the better version, you can also make yourself the worse version. Because we have a freedom. So Gita says, you just put the effort to upgrade yourself. Because if you are not putting the effort for your self-upgradation, automatically your mind, your words, your action will be on the path which is known as the self-degradation. Because the self itself is the friend of self, and the self itself is the enemy of the self, but not ordinary enemy, the greatest enemy. It will destroy each and everything. So the conclusion of these two shlokas is that we have a freedom to choose upgradation and degradation, but advice is that we should go for the self-upgradation. And this self-upgradation is the path of yoga, and this self-upgradation is known as the positive psychology. Next, these are very common terms in India: Purushartha Chatushtaya, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So psychologically, we have to understand what is the Dharma, what is the Artha, what is the Kama, what is the Moksha. So after the birth, everybody has bundle of desires. What is that desire? The primary desire is to connect with this outer world. And the desire to connect with this outer world called the Kama. So everybody by birth having the Kama desires. And later we are trying to fulfill that desire. So whatever we need to fulfill that desire is called the Artha. So Kama is an inbuilt feature and desires are inbuilt. But to fulfill that desire, we need an Artha. We need a different kind of object. And then after the birth, there is the desire, we go and fulfill because we get some pleasure, some positiveness. So this circle is again and again, and it's called the consumerism, materialism. That if there is a desire, just fulfill it. Enjoy each and every moment of your life. Just forget what will happen to the next event. And that leads life in a dark phase. So our ancestor rishis and munis, they observe this cycle, this vicious circle. They desire, solve desire, again desire, solve desire, again desire. Because it's a very famous quote from Bhagavad Gita. Desire has two aspects. Either you can satisfy your desire or you can suppress your desire. If you are going to satisfy your desire, then again your desire will be born. If you are going to suppress your desire, then your inner personality will blast. You will get inner disturbance, which is called the krodha and lobha. Kama further is converted into two forms. If Kama is a fulfill, then Lobha, more desire will be there. If Kama is a stop, then there is a Krodha, inner disturbance. In inner disturbance, we are going to fulfill that desire in a very mad way. So, Kama, desire fulfillment. And this way are a very famous character in our mythology is Yayati. Yayati is a famous person who spent more than 1,000 years for desire fulfillment, any kind of desire. Later, this is found that in this way, we are the work become the useless. If we are here just to fulfill the desire, then there's no need to this work, because the other animals also having such tendency. So, what is the unique feature USP which make a human being different from any animal? So, Bhartrihari say ahar nidra bhayamaithunam. Animals also want food. They also want sleep. They having the fear factor. And ahar nidra, and they have also the physical relation. What is the difference between the human being and animal? Viveka buddhis tesam adhikam, means we have a power of self-upgradation. We can put effort for the self. It means by managing all these things, we can go beyond also, which called the journey of yoga, the path of yoga. So our rishis made some particular rule and regulation that which types of desire in when it should be fulfilled and which type of desire should be just passed on. So certain rules of the desire management called the dharma. Dharma is nothing. Dharma is just a certain rules which govern our desire. That all kind of desire we are going to fulfill all time, then our body will not sustain for longer time. Later, sooner, the body will be destroyed and we will be also vanished. So there are certain rules. First, categorize the desire. Which are the good desire, which are the bad desire, and also the timing of desire, when desire should be fulfilled. So there are certain rule and regulations which govern our desire, that called the dharma. But why dharma? Why such types of rule and regulation? So the rishis say that there is the ultimate purpose of this life, and that is the moksha, the ultimate liberation. Why ultimate liberation? Because once we achieve that state, so being in the body, we will be away from all this desire fulfillment chain. It means this vicious circle will be destroyed. So moksha is mean just experiencing that higher state of consciousness, and it may be possible only when we are able to manage our visible form of personality. We are manage our kama, artha, this chain, and for managing that there are certain do and don'ts, and that called the dharma. Next, the yoga gives a complete package for this and how we can manage this dharma, artha, kama, etc., and how we can upgrade ourselves. So for that, Bhagavad Gita give a complete package which is known as the Dhyana Yoga, and in Yoga Sutra, which is also very prominent yoga text, there is a term Ashtanga Yoga. So now I am going to these two practical aspects, because I talk a lot about that we should put effort for the self-upgradation, but how we can go for that self-upgradation? What is the pathway of that self-upgradation? So this is the pathway of the self-upgradation. In the Bhagavad Gita, the pathway of self-upgradation is known as the Dhyana Yoga. And Dhyana Yoga is divided in two parts. One part is the management, second part is the practices which lead toward the experiencing higher state of the consciousness. So for the self-upgradation, we have to very first start managing our basic requirements. And what are the basic requirements? So these are known as the basic requirements: ahara, nidra, vyayama, vichara, karma. Yukta ahara viharasya yukta. This shloka is from Bhagavad Gita, is stated in the next slide, and that exactly I am going to share and explain in a very brief way. Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So the first aim of yoga is to manage our visible aspect. Visual aspect is what? Ahara, nidra. These are essential. Without ahara, we cannot survive. Without nidra, we cannot survive. Without physical activities in the sense of exercise, etc., we cannot survive. Without thought, we cannot survive. And without doing karma, we cannot survive. So first step towards the self-upgradation is to manage these 5 elements, which are the essential. So ahara should be yukta, a balanced diet. Very first, we have to work on the ahara. Next, nidra. Yukta Nidra, very balanced sleep. Next, Yukta Vihar. Yukta Vihar means there should be a very balanced physical activity, which called exercise, etc. Next, Yukta Vichara, positive, enlightening thought. And Yukta Karma, we should be aware whatever are our duties and responsibility, we should be aware toward that, and we should be dedicatedly fulfill that duties and responsibility. And once these aspects are managed, because nowadays most of problems are the outcome of the disturbance, either in the ahar, either in the nidra, either in the vihar, either in the vichar, either in the karma. Either it's a stress, whatever, stress, obesity, whatever we call the disease, disorder, everything is just outcome of not managing these 5 elements properly. And if we are able to manage it, and these are very important, if we are ignoring ahara, ignoring nidra, ignoring vyayama, ignoring thoughts, ignoring karma, then our visible and invisible, both aspects of our personality will be totally destroyed. So Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita said that first step toward the self-upgradation is the managing visible aspect. Ahar, nidra, vyayama, vichara, karma. And if our ahar is organized, there are certain principles of ahar recommended by the Ayurveda, yoga, which are known as the yukta ahar, mita ahar, means the quality, the quantity, the way of having, the way of eating, the time of eating, the temperament during the eating. It should be very systematized, very positive. There should be a particular time of eating, etc. So all these called the yukta ahar. Yukta nidra means the sleep is not in our control, but the time to go on bed and the time of get up we can fix. So in the Sanskrit it's called the swapna avabodh. So we can fix that this time I will go on bed, and early morning time, whatever, 6, 7, 8 hours as per your demand, as per your requirement, you go for the yukta nidra. The nidra should be very balanced. Now the psychologists are much aware about our sleep pattern. How if our sleep is very organized, that so many depression, disorders, primarily is going to be aware. And third, but the most important, in the India, it is most primarily missing, that is the exercise. In the urban, in the metro cities, people are much aware that they are going to gym, yoga, Zumba classes, etc. But in the most of the portion of our population is not much aware. But as important is ahar, as important is the nidra, same amount the vyayam, the physical activities, the exercise, etc. is also important, because ahar give energy, nidra give relaxation, and these two are possible only whatever we eat, if properly it is distributed in the body. There is a proper flow of the blood, proper flow of the oxygen, proper flow of the different hormones, and that for that we need minimum level of the exercise. So these 3 are important. Fourth one is the thought. Some of time we are not aware. Patanjali very clearly said that how mind functions. So he stated the functioning of mind in 5 different levels. He said pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, smriti. So the conclusion of this shloka is that mind has 2. Either mind is a active or mind is a deactive. If mind is a active, it's called the pramana and viparya. If mind is a deactive, it's called nidra. So when we are in the sleep, that time mind is inactive. There is no need, because there is no thought is going on. But when mind is active at that time, what happens? Mind is connected with the present, mind is connected with the past, mind is connected with the future. Further, inactive means nidra. But active, there are 3 possibilities. Either mind is at present, whatever. If I am delivering a lecture, so if my mind is also here, it called the mind is at present. But I am lost in some memories, mind in the past. I am lost in some planning, some imagination, it called the mind in future. So basically, if mind is at present, so if there is a complete awareness, it called pramana. If there is lack of awareness and attention, it called the viparya. But if we are not in present, so most of time either we are in a state of vikalpa or smriti. Either we are in the stage of memories or in the planning or imagination, etc. So vichar means managing the mind. Managing the mind means having the positive mind, positive beliefs, positive ideology. Because primarily whatever we are going to think, each and every thought having effect on our personality, on our words, on our action, later sooner. because a very famous nowadays is very famous, the butterfly effect. What is the butterfly effect? It means any kind of very minute activity will happen in any part of this universe that later sooner will also give the impact on other part of it. So same way, this is the thoughts are the very minute, it is not visible. But if we are aware, if we are attentive, if we have a plan, if we have a purpose, the thought automatically will be organized. Next is the karma. And now at the present time, most of MNCs, etc. is working, everybody has the workload. So we are not much enjoying our karma, assigned duties, our role and responsibility. But the yoga says, if you want to upgrade yourself, so enjoy whatever are your assigned duties and responsibility. It may be you like, you don't like, hardly matter, but you have to give complete devotion and dedication toward that. Then only you can go more further or more further. Otherwise, if these elements are not managed and you start with your journey of yoga, yoga means higher level of practice to experience that ultimate goal, which is known as the Ananda Samadhi, then these will create the disturbance. Without managing these five, a person cannot move in the more and more deeper journey of the yoga. Once this managed, now Krishna says everybody is fit for the yoga practice. Yoga practice means to experience that subjective joy, to experience that ananda. And for that, there is a particular step. First is a particular place. Next is a particular mat. Third is a particular posture. These three are very essential because by standing, by sleeping, we cannot proceed further for a yoga practice. That's why the sitting posture is the ideal. So in a particular place, on a particular mat, or on a particular body posture, we have to adopt for the further practices. What are the further practices? So first practice yoga is the pranayama, breath management. Because as much as our breath is under control, mind automatically will be controlled. Because in the Hatha Yoga, it is believed that mind and the breath both are the interconnected. If there is a disturbance in the breath, automatically mind will be disturbed. If the breaths are organized, mind will be organized. Then once pranayam, we have a control over our prana, then we should work next. That's called the pratyahara. What is the pratyahara? Pratyahara just withdrawing the senses, means every sense develops some of the taste, some of the like and dislike. So just neutralizing that likes and dislikes, because everything is important. So neutralizing that like and dislike called the pratyahara. Now we are prepared for the final phase of yoga, which is known as the dharana, dhyan and samadhi. So we can start from dharana. That dharana automatically will be converted into dhyan, and that dhyan automatically will be converted into samadhi. There is no need to do more anything. So we can do only, we can select a particular place when our ahara and nidra etc. are managed. If not managed, just work on that. Then go for this type of yoga practices. So next, same way, the complete package of self-upgradation given by Acharya Patanjali, which is known as the Ashtanga Yoga. So now I think next I have a 20-25 minutes. So I will put a light on this Ashtanga Yoga. Most of you maybe heard about the Ashtanga Yoga, but I will try to give a new dimension of Ashtanga Yoga. So first, these are the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Because some of components are already here, that's why I skipped my earlier slide, and everything will be discussed here in detail. So Acharya Patanjali start the self-upgradation, Adhyatma Sadhana, Yoga Sadhana, broadening of the mind. From first rule is the Yama. Yama means certain rules to live in a society. Yama will not leave any kind of spiritual growth, but it will make a person to be fit in the society. So what are the prerequisites to being fit in the society, or the rules how to behave with others? Just see the observation of Acharya Patanjali. Acharya Patanjali started the Ashtanga Yoga, not how to live with the self, how to interact with the self. Very first, because that is the most outer aspects of our personality, how we are interacting with the outer world. Outer world may be anything, person, place, an animal, anything. So first he said that we have to follow 5 principles to interact with the outer world. And what are the 5 principles which are known as the Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha? I'm now going to give a very generalized, very simple meaning of all this. So first importance is that to adopt Brahmacharya. What is Brahmacharya? In the very confined meaning, it called the control over particular senses. But what is the real meaning of Brahmacharya? Brahmacharya means Brahma vad charati iti Brahmacharya. Brahma means something is a very vast, something is a very broad. So broad thinking, it called the Brahmacharya. A person who is always adopting a very broad thinking, such types of persons, such types of activity called the Brahmacharya. The secondary meaning of Brahmacharya means accepting this universe, each and every activity, each and every component as an important component. We categorize the someone is a VIP, someone is a VVIP, someone is a local, sometimes. So according to Patanjali, the first requirement to be fit in the society, that we have to accept the importance of each and every particle of this universe. And such a ideology, such a belief, such a thinking called the Brahmacharya means everything is important in this universe. Automatically the other yamas will be reflected in our behavior. How? If we accepted that each and every aspect, each and every particle, each and every component of this universe is equally important, then what will happen? We are not going to harm anything physically. We are not going to harm anything mentally. We are not going to harm anything socially. So physical harm called the hinsa, and lack of that physical harm called the ahimsa. Mental harm called the stay, and lack of that mental harm is called the stay. Next, social harm. We are also harming people socially. Socially means we are accumulating things unnecessary. So some of members of our society are not able to fulfill their basic desire, basic needs. So parigraha. Parigraha means accumulating unnecessary. By accumulating unnecessary commodities, what we are trying to do? Indirectly, we are socially harming. Means some of person are not able to maintain their social status. So aparigraha. And so if we adopted a broad vision, if we accepted each and every particle is equally important, that we are not going to harm anything. So automatically we are established in ahimsa, non-violence. We are also not going to harm anyone mentally. So we are already established in the non-stealing. Asteya, we are not also going to harm anyone socially. So we are in a state of aparigraha. And last but the most important, to be fit in the society, just be the simple. Now it becomes very complexity that if a person is very simple, so he cannot get success, he cannot survive in the society. No, it is just a kind of wrong belief, wrong perception, and wrong kind of advertisement that everybody is trying to be more smart not for the self-evidence, more smart that how we can cheat with the other. But the Acharya Patanjali is saying Satya. Satya is the primary truth. Satya means simplicity, simplicity. Just be simple. Your thought, your words, your actions should be aligned. There should be harmony. And if everybody is able to do so, so just imagine what may be the color of our society, what may be the phenomena in the society. The society will be harmonized. Everybody is fit to live. There is no lack of physical resources. There is no lack of ideas. Then nothing which call that a person is not able to fulfill his basic requirement, basic needs. So first, yama, how to interact, how to live, how to behave with others, how to be a fit person in society, because that is the most outer aspects of our personality. Now, if we are fit in the society, then we can progress, we can move toward more inward journey. So next, Acharya Patanjali stated that now we should work for now we are completely organized, and now we are fit in the society. We learn the rules, how to interact with the others, how to live in a harmonized society. Now Acharya Patanjali says how to live with the self-management. What are the rules of self-management? Saucha, cleansing, santosa, mental satisfaction, tapa, wearing all the dualities, all the changes occur due to the different atmosphere, swadhyaya, self-observation, and Ishwar Pranidhan, accepting the universal, accepting supreme power which is governing each and everything. These are the 5 rules which are for the self-upgradation. Mean if there is a Sauch, so by adopting Sauch, we will be physically, mentally healthy. by adopting santosh. What is the santosh? Santosh means whatever you have, just have the have a view that is also important. Whatever you acquire, enjoy that also. Santosh means not stop acquiring, stop achieving. No, santosh means whatever you acquire, whatever you are achieved, enjoy that, enjoy your presence. So by santosh, by Saud we will get health, by santosh we will get the happiness, by tapa we will get the stability, by swadhyay we will get a pathway for more upgradation. Because nowadays it's very famous, the journal maintain. Everybody says just maintain your journal, so your personality will be totally transformed. It means whatever from very early morning to till late night, whatever you are doing, if you are able to observe, you are able to categorize, then you can definitely upgrade. If somebody realize and experience that some act is a good, definitely he or she is going to promote that act. It happened unconsciously. If you recognize, if you admitted that this act was not done in proper way, or if this act is not ethical, then automatically you should, if you are aware, automatically you will avoid that. But for that you have to analyze, you have to categorize, and at last the most important is just being holistic, that we have to accept a universal power which is called the Ishvara Pranidhana. Universal power means there is a universal law and order, universal mind. Every individual having the individual mind. That way there is a universal mind. And that kind of acceptance does not harm any kind of, the niyama is not saying just go to temple, just to follow anything. No, just accept that someone is more greater than me. This is the essence of Ishwar Pranidhana. So first we learn how to be good in the society. Second, we learn how to be good with the self. And now we are ready for the more inward journey, more transformation and more upgradation. And that starts from asana, a particular posture, pranayama, breath management, pratyahara, neutralizing our senses, our like, dislike, etc. And real practice start from here, dharana, focusing on any particular object, whatever suits to you, as per your pre-understanding, etc. Just focus on that for a longer time. Automatically, your mind will be calm, your breath will be very synchronized. Slowly, your level of concentration and level of awareness will increase, and slowly you will. First, we are doing this concentration with effort. We have to make effort again and again. Mind is going here and there, so then we have to again fix on that particular point. Later, sooner, after passing some time, mind automatically will be concentrated on that point. So effortful concentration called the dharana. And if that concentration is effortless, then it becomes the dhyana. And it happens. If effortfully for a long time you are going to concentrate your mind on a particular point, later your mind naturally will be concentrated on your point. It's called effortless concentration. And if we achieve that effortless concentration, then later this will lead toward the journey which is called the beyond mind. Beyond mind means the effect of mind, etc., which is called the pure peace, pure prosperity, pure positivity. And that will lead toward the subjective joyment. Subjective joyment means once achieve forever, such types of joyment. So now 15 minutes is there, so we can go for the practical, which is very popular in the Bhagavad Gita. Nasikagra Dhyan. So some of you or all of you get a experience how that dharana is converted into dhyan and how dhyan is converted into samadhi. Not samadhi is going to be happen in a 1 or 2 minutes, but you will feel more relaxed. So just adopt any meditative posture wherever you are, just to sit on a particular place and just relax and focus on your breath. So first, please be stable, either on the chair, on the floor, wherever you feel that you are more comfortable. Just sit there, make yourself comfortable, relax. And just focus on your breath. Now, you have to give your complete focus, complete attention on your tip of the nose. It means we have to fix our gaze on the tip of the nose. So just try to focus on tip of nose, nothing else. And be focused here until unless you are not feeling much uncomfortable. As long as you can do, just focus on tip of nose. And after that, if you are not comfortable, just gently close your eyes, nothing else. Once you feeling uncomfortable, just gently close your eyes, or your eyes automatically will be closed. And once your eyes will be closed, you will feel that there is some space between the eyebrows, which is called technically Ajna Chakra. And just be, don't go for any thought, don't go for any imagination, just be on that step as long as you are the comfortable. If you feel there are thoughts are uncomfortable, just open your eyes and be comfortable. Otherwise, just be on that state as long as you feel comfortable. Again, repeat this cycle again once more. Just again, open your eyes, focus on tip of your nose as long as you are the comfortable. And just focus. No. Yeah, make complete focus on your tip of nose. There should be no disturbance at the level of eye movement, etc. No. Complete attention, complete focus on the tip of nose. And try to maintain it as longer as possible. Don't make yourself much uncomfortable, but try to extend your comfortable. And once you feel more uncomfortable, just close your eyes. If you are feeling more comfortable in the closed eyes, just remain there. Otherwise, just open eyes and again be ready for the third round of Nashikagra Dhyan. Focus completely on tip of your nose and prolong it as long as possible. Again, once you started, uncomfortableness, just close your eyes and be in silence. Okay, so it was very brief Nasikagra Dhyan practice. So when we are focusing on tip of our nose, it's called the dharana, because we have to put effort to make ourselves concentrated. And after some time, slowly, gradually, when we close our eyes, we are automatically in the state of silence. We are not putting any kind of efforts. It's called the dhyan. And if that dhyana prolongs for longer time, then we are enter into samadhi. So that is only possible when for a long time we are practicing this Nasikagra dhyana. So simply, there is no pranayama, etc. Simply just say, primarily try to focus on your inhalation and exhalation and make your inhalation and exhalation deeper actively. Later, if you feel you are comfort with inhalation and exhalation and your breath pattern is organized, then very gently put your whole attention on tip of your nose and try to prolong it as long as your this concentration of your tip of nose is long, as long as accordingly your concentration, the effortless concentration will be more and more. And that if that duration of dhyana, concentration, effortless concentration is long, then automatically will enter in a state which called the sunya, nothingness, samadhi. So what we have to do actively, we have to actively first observe our breathe, organize the breath pattern, then focus on tip of nose as long as possible, and after that gently close your eyes. After that, there's nothing to do. Whatever happen, the dhyana will automatically happen. Automatically you will feel very comfortable, very relaxed, very calm, very positive. And for a longer time practicing, it will upgrade for more and more broader way. So that will make changes on your thinking pattern, your breath pattern, and also on your words, action. Everything will be more synchronized, more harmonized, and you will feel that every act will be the beneficial for the self and universe. And that is the ultimate goal of yoga as a positive psychology, as the what we converted as a adhyatma sadhana or self-upgradation. So this was from my side a small presentation on the topic given, yoga as a positive psychology. Thank you so much for all the participants being in this session. Now over to Susila madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Shall I enable the chat, sir?
Yes.
For any queries?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. So participants can ask questions to sir now. You can put it in the chat box.
Yeah, some of participants, I think they are raising hand. I don't know, they want to ask something or.
Please explain about Samkhya Yoga.
Okay, so Sankhya Yoga is a school of yoga, philosophical school, where the Sankhya give the theory and the yoga give the practice. So Sankhya is more concerned about the metaphysical explanation and epistemological explanation. Metaphysical explanation means how this universe is evolved. Epistemological explanation means how we can interact, how we can know this universe as it is. So that is this part. Sankhya is more concerned. Yoga is that how we can connect with the self. So Sankhya is known as a theory, yoga is known as a practice, and these two known as the sister systems. These two are the two philosophical schools which are adopted each other's epistemology, metaphysics, and ethics. Can yoga be practiced by children below 6 years? Sir, I am not a yoga master, so it may be good to ask someone who is taking the practical session, because I discuss only the theoretical aspect. So it would be difficult for me to exactly to say it can be practiced. Yoga can be practiced, but the practical teacher can enlighten more practical. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Dosha is not discussed by me, so I think I can give a brief on that, but that not seems very logical to present here. Okay. Thank you.
Dear students, any questions you please post in the chat.
Okay. So someone asked that yoga is, I'm not able to read, positive or beige. Is yoga insist only beige food? As per the Hatha Yoga text, there is a pathya and apathya. So in a pathya and apathya, primarily yoga insists that a person should follow the veg food. The logic or the purpose behind that, the veg food, the vegetables, ayu sattva bala arogya sukha priti vivardhana. This is the philosophy. So any food which gives the positivity, lightness, etc. So it is believed or it is scientifically proved that the vegetarian foods are light, more easy to digest, etc. That's why. But not there is no hardcore such types of belief that only and only veg food. Ideally, everybody should consume veg food. But if someone is consuming non-veg, etc., so they have to manage it their level. But yeah, pathya and apathya, non-veg is in a apathya category according to yoga, but not in that sense, because yoga is primarily focused in very particular person. Later it becomes a generalized. So in generalized sense, if you are able to manage your food and that food, because in some of area of India and some of portion of the broad, the non-veg is the essential part of that food. So it is not such kind of insist word is not there. Every shastra, every rishi, every teacher, always they prescribe what is the ideal, and then they give freedom and we can adopt accordingly. Regarding Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya and Parigraha being a moral discipline, one have to practice by protecting the outer world. Why it is said, our set of don't, okay, so don't means that we should avoid. So I said that if you have a Brahmacharya means broad vision, so automatically these reflect. There's no need to just go for the non-violence. Automatically that non-violence will reflect. But same time we say niyam as do. Okay, I have to practice the self-discipline. It is agreed. Same philosophy is also adopted by me. Okay, I will share my PPTs with Susila madam, so everybody will get PPTs. Somebody,
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Difference between yama and niyama, I already discussed that yama is how to live, how to behave with others. Niyama is for the self-centered. Where can, okay. So nowadays I am working in a Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga. So this is my official address. Okay, thank you. So whatever is written by the participant in the chat box and whatever was accessible to me, I access and try to answer whatever was in my capacity, because some of question cannot be answered, like the question was about the children who can practice yoga, because that was not discussed. So always please make sure that the question should be what the presented, if something is not clear, because all kind of answer cannot be given a person. It depends different time. If I am having a different discussion at that time, I can solve or I can give a different kind of advice, etc. But being very much concentrated on this topic, so whatever was related, I tried to answer. Thank you so much to all participants, and I really appreciating that Madam Susila, Madam, more than 300 participants are here. Great achievement, Madam. Great achievement. Because I deliver in many lectures in many prestigious university, but there are 100, 200. But I'm seeing that in your Zoom meeting, there are 322 students. Congratulations, madam. Great achievement.
Two more questions they are asking, sir. Difference between
tapas and meditation. Okay. So basically, tapas, according to in yoga, na tapas padhyaya isra parinam. So tapa means just to wearing the outer changes. It is tapa. Meditation is just being silent at the physical and mental level. That meditation. And okay, Purush and Prakriti. So these are two the basic principles, basic element of this universe according to Sankhya philosophy. Purush is the consciousness and Prakriti is the matter. And the whatever we are seeing in our day-to-day life, everything is a combination of Purus and Prakriti, consciousness and matter. Okay, thank you. My concluding remark is that in Vedanta, there are three very famous steps of learning. One is the Sravana, second is the Manan, third is the Nididhyasana. So whatever you have listened, just first contemplate on that, and next is try to implement on your action level. So listen, understand, and try to live accordingly. Whatever is possible, everything cannot be made in the practice, but whatever is possible. So any one teaching, if you can implement in your actiona, so it may be great achievement of my lecture delivering, and also for your active listener, for your active participation. So every time, because every theory is for actiona, and if any actiona is not any theory is not can be implemented in actiona, that theory is useless. Definition of tapas is a tapo nam dvanda sahanam. The Vyas Bhasya in a Yoga Sutra, the famous commentary Vyas Bhasya, and there is a tapo nam dvanda sahanam. It's the technical definition. So all the dualities, whatever present in the outer world, that should remain, that should be where that called the tapa. I am talking in very specific term of yoga tapa. Tapa has a very broad meaning, so I am not going to.
Madam, Arpit Kumar. Okay, madam. Madam. Oh. Okay, madam. Okay, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you. I didn't operate. I will put the mute on. But the phone call will be received. No, she is there. She will finish the time. No, but down wire we are not able to do that. If somebody is not.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you have finished, sir? Yes, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, Arbit Kumar Rabbi, sir. He's from faculty in charge of language department from Moraji Desai National Institute of Yoga, New Delhi. He has given a wonderful, inspiring lecture about yoga as a positive psychology. And he has mentioned Aditma Sadhana spirituality and Purushartha Satyasya, then Dhyana Yoga. And he has well explained about Patanjali's 8 limbs path of self-transcendence. That is the Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. And he has clarified all the doubts raised by our participants. Thank you very much on behalf of the IQAC of Annamalai University and Center for Yoga Studies. Thank you very much for your spending your valuable time with us, and a wonderful session we had, sir. Thank you, sir. On behalf of the participants, I thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So now I can leave, madam. I can leave.
You can leave, sir. You can leave, sir.
Thank you so much, madam, for your
Thank you,
invitation
sir.
and for such a wonderful interaction. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Dear participants, now we have a next session. Our today's guest, Dr. A.K. Thirajan sir. So he is a MBBS from Madras Medical College, PG Diploma in Yoga, MSc Yoga in Annamalai University. So he's Yoga Brotherhood. So not only in the medical man, he's very passionate of yoga. Then Shivananda Yoga, unit of Bihar School of Yoga. Research work in the above center, we have presented the work to Swami Niranjananda in the year 1991. And he has delivered so many lectures on yoga in various places. And he has a position held in the founder secretary of GTPT Doctors Association, President Indian Medical Association, GTPT, and community health coordinator, IMA Chennai. He has conducted free medical camps in several states, rural areas. And he had a training in cardiology in USA, then interested in application of yoga in lifestyle modification program, his services to rural communities. So such a versatile personality with us. So the second section is going to handle the topic is yoga, a tool as a preventive medicine. So he's going to present. We are eagerly waiting you, sir. On behalf of the IQAC of Annamalai University and Center for Yoga Studies, we invite you, sir. We invite you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Then over to Dr. Sir. Sir, mute sound illa, sir.
Hello, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Can you hear me? No,
Yes,
not
sir.
Can you
Yes.
go ahead?
Yes, sir. Now I'm here.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. At the outset, I would convey my respect to all the participants and my teachers and the teamwork of the Yoga Center. And
The little bit volume, sir.
little bit one. I'll come.
Little bit disturbing also.
Is this okay, madam? Disturbance here?
No, no, sir. Again, sir, please.
Once I asked my
No,
friends
no issues, sir. No issues.
going to adjust the volume. If the volume is not right, please tell me.
Sir, kindly check your audio, sir.
Hello. Is it okay now? Hello. 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 Yeah, is it okay now, ma'am?
Sir. இப்ப நீங்க
One
பேசுங்க,
second.
sir. We will check it.
Hello. ஹலோ
மேடம் இப்ப கேக்குதா பாருங்க.
மேடம் இப்ப கேக்குதா சொல்லுங்க. ஹலோ
ஓகே சார்.
கேக்குதுங்களா?
எஸ் சார், எஸ் சார்.
ஓகே
ஓகே சார்.
ஓகே. குட் ஈவினிங் எவ்ரிபடி. உங்கள் எல்லாருக்கும் என்னுடைய வணக்கம். Namaste to all of you. Let me start. Sorry for the small little discrepancy we had at the beginning part of the program. Now let me start. We'll compensate the time lost. And the topic, first right. So, yoga, the tool for harmonizing the self and the world. I'm really, I'm taken aghast by the name, which is very proper name. In fact, kudos to the people who have coined this word, the tool for harmonizing the self and the world. Because my favorite topic, though I'm a doctor, my favorite topic used to be self. And this is the dissertation I did in MSc Yoga way back in Annamalai University. And this is a need of the heart. And a word about Annamalai University. Annamalai University is my alma mater, and it's my mother. Whenever I cross Chidambaram area, I like to go inside like a son trying to see the mother after a long gap. So that is the charm of Annamalai University. It's a Punya Bhumi, and needless to say, the cosmic dance of Lord Shiva. The entire world is after that. The great scholars, great philosophers are doing work on this Chidambara Rahasyam. It's a Chit Ambaram, and in Chidambaram is by the grace of uh, the great Doyen Annamalai Chettiar, Raja Annamalai Chettiar, who bought the big piece of land and converted that into a university, which is housing several departments, and the yoga center is a pinnacle of the entire university. I'm proud to be an alumni of Annamalai University. I did my PG diploma in yoga and MSc in yoga, all from Annamalai University. And it was a real blessed period when we were students there. The vibration, the cosmic vibrations, which I really felt, and it was like a home from home, away from home. So, and the word self, finally, it all ends in self. And about self, it's a quite a big area to discuss. By self, we mean only our external self. It is the inner self, we have to go inward. The tool for going inward to understand the inner self, like what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, to go inward and find yourself. And once you get an awareness of your inner self, yoga is the only medium to give you the awareness of the inner self. And there are so many yogas like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Kundalini Yoga. And even in Bhagavad Gita, all the chapters, 80 chapters are called Yoga. Arjuna, Visara Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, so on and so forth. Okay, now, at the outset, I would like to offer my respect to my teachers, the various teachers I had. And the teacher, first teacher of mine is Yoga Brotherhood. In 1980s, I joined out of a necessity, out of some reasons I had to join to take care of my health because I was a very active practitioner, seeing about 200 patients, working almost 14 hours, 16 hours, more than that. Okay, then I went to yoga and Yoga Brotherhood. After that, I came to Bihar School of Yoga. Swami Gambhirananda Saraswati, she was my teacher, and Swami Vajrapani was my teacher. And Swami Gambhirananda Saraswati taught me all the yoga procedures, all the things. And I was there for several years. Till even now, I am continuing there. And there, I did yoga research work on hypertension, diabetes, joint pain, allergy, and so on. Okay, arthritis, already mentioned. And we did a small little trial. And when I was doing my yoga, I used to take my BP apparatus and see what's happening, because one of my friends was hypertensive. Both of us went together, and I found after yoga nidra, BP has fallen down about 30 to 40 millimeters. This way back in 1980s. Then Swamiji came and asked me, Yatraj, what are you doing? I said, Swamiji, I'm testing the BP after yoga nidra. Then the Swami said, we'll do a yoga therapy trial. And we did a yoga therapy trial. The results were very nice. And we presented the reports to Swami Paramahansa Niranjanananda, okay, the chief of BR School of Yoga now. And he was very happy with the report, and in fact, he called me by the Rishi. Okay, so a tool for harmonizing the self and the world. It's a very good topic. And that a topic given to me is a preventive medicine. Preventive medicine. It's a very nice title, but we have to really understand what is prevention. We all know 1 ounce of prevention is better than tons of cure. All of us know. There are two types of prevention. One is a primary prevention, the other is a secondary prevention. And we can even add one more called tertiary prevention. But anyway, let us confine to these two areas, primary prevention and secondary prevention. And why is prevention needed? Because once you get a disease, and if you don't care for the disease, you get the complication of the disease. And after the complications, you have to rush to hospital, lot of medical expenditure, and nowadays, the medical bills are alarming. Can't help it because people have invested so much of money in corporate hospitals, and they have to do a great job, and people's expectations is very high. So better you don't create a necessity and don't allow your disease to go to that level of creating complications. Of course, science has advanced to such a great extent. Basically, I'm a doctor and I'm a yoga man also. So the medical sciences advanced to such a level. The safest place, I would say, before when I was a student, people used to cry when the patients inside operation theater. The people outside used to cry. Now the scenario is different. Operation theater is supposed to be the safest place now. Anything fails, okay. Heart fails, there's a machine. Heart, lung, okay, there's a machine. And kidney fails, there's a machine. So science has advanced. But when you prevent all the problems by early diagnosis or by doing genetic, history. That is, say your father, mother both had some health issues, especially say, for example, diabetes. If your father and mother both are diabetic, you are bound to get diabetic. So, at what age we can say? By following this preventive medicine, you can postpone the onset of diabetes, or you can even live without diabetes. There are a lot of things called genetic decoding, recoding. All those things happen in yoga. Yoga is a vast science, and there was no big awareness about yoga about 30-40 years before, when we were students of yoga. And those days when we talk about yoga, people used to, you know they won't give great importance to yoga. Now we worked for 30 years, 35 years on yoga. Now the happiest moment has come to us now. Everywhere they talk about yoga, and everywhere they are preaching about yoga, and hospitals have yoga center. And I'm glad government has introduced yoga into government hospital also. So in preventive medicine, you have to prevent the onset of the disease by knowing the family history. Second, nevertheless, even if you discover a patient diabetic, hypertension, nothing to worry about. Diabetes and hypertension, only when they produce disease complications in your system, that is the time you need treatment. So by practicing yoga, you can you can postponed onset of any complication, or you can even totally prevent complication. Let me start. I was a student in Government General Hospital, Madras Medical College. After I finished my graduation, somewhere in 1972, 1973, I happened to get a little training in neurosurgery. I was posted as a special trainee, or we can call it even senior surgeon. I can show that. This is me. I was a 23, 24-year-old boy, just finished my graduation. This is the great neurosurgeon V. Ramamurthy. And Dr. Ramamurthy is a doyen and is almost the founder of neurosurgery in India, one of the pioneers of neurosurgery in India. And Dr. Ramamurthy used to talk about yoga even when I was a student. I used to wonder, such a great, eminent neurosurgeon, international fame neurosurgeon Ramamurthy, and he's talking about yoga because those days no awareness of yoga. Yoga means they thought one ashram or it belonged to one particular group of people. And when eminent doctor, most modern doctor in 1973 or 72, he spoke about yoga. It was my first eye opener about yoga. It's coming from a great neurosurgeon who was initiated neurosurgery in this part of India. And next. And look at the words. This is worth reading. These words he has written about minimum 50, 60 years ago. And see how relevant it is today. I will read. The revival of the science of yoga bodes good for mankind. All the technological advances in the third millennium will not lead into happiness of mankind. Now we are technologically advanced. Moon landing and all kind of advancement, whatever we had never anticipated when we are small. Now the greatest advancement we are seeing. But what is the disadvantage? Now people have become aggressive. You all have to healthy. People have become aggressive. Those days culture about 30 or 50 years before culture is gone. When the culture what I've seen when I was small, gone because aggressive. Selfishness, all for me, my name, ego, all the negative qualities, all those things are going ahead. It's growing. And this is likely to destroy because of this aggression. What is the remedy? The only way out of this mess is through the science of yoga. Dr. Ramamurthy has mentioned 50 years, 60 years before. Of course, Dr. Ramamurthy is no more. And he has mentioned so many years ago. And he says, which transcends all religion and cult. There are a lot of problems with religion, a lot of problems with cult. Everybody has got a cult. All the religions are good. But there are a lot of clashes. Interreligious, intra-religious, only the science of yoga will remove all these maladies. It is science of the mind and the body. See, Dr. Ramamurthy, he doesn't put body as the first one. He said it is science of mind. Yoga is, of course, body, mind, and soul. And he put mind as the first thing because he is a neurologist, mind medicine, and mind and body, and needs to be practiced by all human beings to ensure their own future. How relevant it is. And he envisaged, he expected this 50, 60 years before. And now that's what we are facing now. Next. Okay. A word about, preventive medicine means you got to know what is health. If you don't know what is health, preventive medicine, we may not understand. And we won't even understand what is yoga if we don't understand what is health. Health, WHO described health. The beginning we thought health means physical, the body. Your body is healthy, healthy. And we never gave importance to the mind. We never gave importance to the mind. We gave importance only to the body. How are you? You're all right. Your body's all right, like that. Then later, mental. Mental. See, I was a student in the psychiatry, third year. where I had a great teacher, very internationally famed teacher, Sarada Menon. I am fortunate to have had her as my teacher. And she used to talk about mental diseases. And she used to talk about depression, anxiety, obsession, deja vu, and several things. Then I used to think, medicine means heavy business. We are talking about body, liver, heart, kidney, all those things. And there is something called mind. That is the first time I started thinking, oh, there is something called mind. And so whenever she takes a class, I will go deep into the mind area. And then I understand it is the mind which has to be, which is very important. Of course, physical is body, mental is mind, environment. Your body is all right, your mind is all right, but your environment is no good, then you're sick. And you're all right physically, mentally, but you're socially, you're moving around, not attending to the the functions, and then also you're not healthy. And last, the greatest thing is spiritually. Spiritually means what is your inner self? See, Ramana Maharshi used to say outer self, inner self. தன்னை அறிந்து இன்பமுற வெண்ணிலாவே நீ ஒரு தந்திரம் ஒன்று சொல்ல வேண்டும் வெண்ணிலாவே. Spirituality is understanding who you are. Your body, yes. The body alone cannot do anything unless there is a life force. The life force is spirit. And once you understand the life force inside you, then you start emanating love from you because all the spirits are connected. So, health means physically, mentally, environmentally, socially, and spiritually, you got to have well being. That is called health. We'll come to the spiritual subject because that is the one connected to the self. This is the greatest slide. This is the greatest slide. This one slide can tell you everything about yoga. This one slide is more than sufficient to talk about yoga. This is from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Look at our seers, 3,000, 5,000 years before. They've created this Taittiriya Upanishad. And in this Taittiriya Upanishad, they said Panchakosha. And so, okay. So, this Panchakosha of Taittiriya Upanishad talks about the outer red line, the red circle. The red circle is Annamaya Kosha. Anna means food, Maya Kosha. This outer circle is the body. This is a gross body. Okay, it's a gross body which has right from skin, muscle, internal organs, brain, respiratory system. All the systems are contained only in the Annamaya Kosha. Okay, then comes the Pranamaya Kosha. Prana, all of you know, prana is energy. Prana. And of course, you know Pancha Prana and Prana. Okay. And Prana energy is compared to the mostly to the thoracic area, cardiorespiratory. The relevance of pranic energy in your cardiorespiratory will come to that. Okay. The third layer of body is a Manomaya Kosha. Mano is a mental body, mind body, psychological body. Okay. Right. I used to wonder why they prana is the life energy and mind is a mental energy. Why mind layer comes after this pranic layer? And I thought body and mind are together, and why there is a prana in between? Later, after discussing with the people and after learning from people, I understand mind is psych body, and this is the gross body. When the mental body is affected, the the energy, the bad energy permeates through your prana, permeates through your life energy, affects your body. There comes the relevant meaning of psychosomatic. We call psychosomatic. Psych means mind, soma means body. Psychosomatic. This psych layer can affect your prana energy and affect your body. That is called psychosomatic. What a relevant word our seers have used it. And they didn't use the word called soma psychic. They used it psychosomatic. So yoga is a system which talks about the psyche. Our medical system talks about diseases, body, and our medical system doesn't speak much about pranic energy and all. So, body system is the one which we talk in great detail. But yoga is the one system which gives attention to the body as well as mind. Okay. This body layer, Annamaya course, all asana, they help the body make course. Pranamaya course and Manomaya course are benefited by the other parts of yoga. In Patanjali's other parts of yoga, we'll come to that. Okay. After Manomaya course, it comes the Vijnanamaya course, that is the reasoning course. Vijnana, science, scientific. Okay, there you reason, there you analyze. Finally, after analyzing all those things, taking care of your Annamaya course by asanas, Pranamaya course, Manomaya course by all your other limbs of Patanjali, like Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Okay, all those layers will bring you to the center layer called Anandamaya Kosh. Your body problem, your energy is purified, your mind is clear, Vijnanamaya Kosh nicely analyzed. All by yoga. Yoga is the right tool which will bring you to Anandamaya Kosh where you can help, where you can enjoy physical and mental health. Okay. Now, Patanjali, the great Patanjali, there were so many systems of yoga earlier. It is like the example what is to give is in a treasure house there are gems, gold, diamond, pearls, corals, and all those things were scattered. And Patanjali collected them and segregated them. That's a great job our great Patanjali did. Patanjali, there's a historian say Patanjali is a grammarian, Patanjali is a yoga man, and Patanjali is a Ayurveda man, and there were a lot of work going on. And Patanjali put all those things into 8 limbs, 8 aphorisms. Okay. So also Tirumular in Tirumantra, there is Ashtanga Yoga. It is called aphorism there. Okay, now let's come to what are the things about 8 limbs. You all know Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. You all know very well about it. Yama, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Yama. Okay, there's a general discipline. Niyama has great relevance with preventive medicine. Niyama means Saucha. Saucha means cleanliness. You got to be clean. So cleanliness is next to godliness. Saucha, Santosha, you got to be happy. You got to be happy. Very difficult to be happy. Yoga is the one which will lead you to happiness. We'll come to that. Saucha, Santosha, Tapasya, discipline, Tapasya. Sapasya, Swadhyayo. Swadhyayo is you got to improve your knowledge, you got to accumulate your knowledge, you got to keep on learning. We are all always students. Only God only is the teacher. We are all always students. That's why Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Gunaktu. We are doing that, we are learning to her. Okay, that's an invocation song of yoga. Okay, then finally is a Ishvara Pranidhan. In Niyama, we end with Ishvara Pranidhan. Saucha, Santosha, Tapasya, Swadhyayo, Ishvara Pranidhana. Surrender. Sarvadharmam Parityachya Mamekam Saranam Braja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papabhya Mokshishyami Masuja. 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, you leave everything totally surrendered to me. Surrender means full faith, Shraddha, Saburi, faith. So, this is what the general discipline Ashtanga Yoga teaches. Now, next comes to body discipline, asana. There are different types of asana. Okay, we'll come to that. And all of you know about different type of asana: sitting asana, standing asana, like a lying down asana. Uh, many asanas. Asana combined with pranayama, they take care of. Pranayama is a respiratory, cardiorespiratory. Asana pranayama is the only thing what we can do in yoga. These are all with the gross body. And then mental discipline and beyond the mind, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. You all know very well. I don't have to repeat it. I don't have to go deep into it. Pratyahara. In life, there will be good times and bad times, like my friend Dean Alish used to say. Good times and bad times will come in life. You have to face them and brave them, yet live easefully, usefully, and peacefully. This is a word what he used to coin. See, you do not prati aharnam, and when you withdraw your sense from anything, then you go to dharana. Dharana means you go to focus. What is the focus? What is the purpose of human life? Purpose of human life is to understand the eternity, the divinity. That is all it is. Purpose of human life is finally, go to him, the creator, and how you reach him, how you see him inside and outside. Dhyana. And when you are doing a dharana, when you are focusing, leaving all this away, nothing, and you go to the dharana, you slip into dhyana. Meditation, you always slip into meditation. And my beloved professor, Viswanathan sir, HOD of Yoga Center, the great dynamic yogi, and he always used to say, you sleep into meditation. Nobody can teach meditation. You sleep into meditation. That's the inner awareness. Once you go into inner awareness, you go to samadhi, kalpa samadhi, vikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. And in the samadhi state, samadhi is not a dead state. You are alive and you are focused, you are with the divinity, and that is the samadhi state. So now we are going to talk about preventive medicine. Being a doctor, let me start about the body. What is the basic unit of human body? Cells. Cells are fundamental unit of a body. All of you know about cells. And what example I give, if you buy one rice bag, big bag, one grain of rice is equivalent to one cell of human system. The human system contains cells. Cells are different types, and there are skin cells, adipose cells, brain cells, nerve cells, and the cardiac cells, muscle cells, uh, liver cells, and there are so many cells. They only form when the collection of cells are called the tissues. When the tissues collect, say like cardiac cells, they join together. They make organ called heart. When the bone cells, each cells are different actually, and bone cells join together and they make a bone system. And the nerve cells are axon, dendron, all those things, and they have a covering of medullary sheath. All those things they form neurological system. So cells, collections of tissues, they form organ. System is one group, like alimentary system. It starts from your mouth, your tongue, your esophagus, your stomach, intestine, and the anus. Like that, cardiology. It starts with your heart, four chambers of the heart, arteries are getting in, and the veins going out. So that's a system. A system means a group of organs doing the function of one function, like respiratory function, cardiovascular function. Okay, that is the human body. This is all in Manomaya Kosh. Cell is a fundamental unit of the body. Yoga acts in cellular level. This is a carry-on point. Yoga acts in is a microcellular because in the beginning, some of the interviews they asked me where is mind. Some 25 years ago. Now we come to understand each cell has got a mind. Each cell has got a program because trillions of cellular reactions taking place every second in cell means it has to have perfect mind. It's not million or billion. Trillion reactions are happening per second. And the beauty is the latest evidence shows all the trillion cells are aware of what reaction happening in the other cells. What a great architect is the God. Okay. The universal intelligence is so great. For non-believers, it's a universal intelligence or cosmic intelligence is so great. And so each cell has got a mind. Asana pranayama, Awareness plays a vital role in cellular function. See, whenever we do asana and pranayama, this is the greatest difference between the exercise and yoga. In asana, whenever you're doing asana, you got to put your mind there. When you're doing asana like Ardha Matsyendrasana, when you're turning your body, you have to put your mind there. And so when you put your mind there, that awareness passes some astral energy to that organ. This is what yoga. And pranayama, inhalation, exhalation. It is actually autonomic nervous system. And inhalation is sympathetic, exhalation is relaxation, parasympathetic. So all these two things they play an important role in cellular functions. And asana, so all of you know, stiram sukham asanam. Asana doesn't have to mean gymnastics. You got to be steady, comfortable, sit. That is what asana means. Okay, and even yoga Patanjali says in one word, what is yoga? This is what I do in most of the meeting. I tell them, you want to know what is the meaning? In a second, fraction of a second, that's it. Ataha. When we say this, the people are concentrating mentally, physically. They are waiting. Everything they have forgotten. Pratyahara already. And they're waiting for the answer. What is that one word? Ataha. That's why Patanjali said Ataha. Then, of course, there are a lot of definitions about asanas. Okay. About yoga. Chitta Vritta Nirodha. Each human being is potentially divine. So says Swami Vivekananda. Bringing the divinity out of you is yoga. Pranayama, pranasna ayamanaha. Pranasna ayamanaha. Your energy, pranic energy, you are enlarging, lengthening, and strengthening. That is pranayama. Now let's come to the systems. And we were talking about cells, tissues, organs, and they join together and they form a system. And the systems are, okay, we have mentioned about the major system, cardiovascular system. Cardio means heart, vascular means the pipelines. You have a water in your tank. Without pipeline, it won't come to your tank. Your water in your sump and as well. Without pipe, it cannot go to the rooftop tank. So cardio is a cardiology is heart, hridaya. Vascular is the blood vessels, arteries, vein. Arteries are taking blood away from the heart. All of you know. Vein is bringing towards the heart. We call venous blood and arterial blood. Those days we used to say good blood and bad blood. There's no good blood, bad blood. It's arterial blood where there is more oxygen. The venous blood, less oxygen. That is cardiovascular system. And next is nervous system. Cardiovascular system is very important because uh, heart is the mother. And I always say brain is like father, heart is the mother. That's why heart is on the left side because it always has got emotions. And the mother will pardon the son, father will be strict. So I always used to say heart is why God kept heart on the left side is it's a feminine side, Ardhanarishwara, feminine side. Okay, so vascular system, brain is in the center. Brain is an amazing organ, amazing organ. When I was with Dr. Ramurthy, we have seen the amazing responses from the patient before surgery and after surgery way back in 1970s where we did not have CT scan, where we did not have all the latest modalities. Thanks to modern science, a lot of these very, very great responses after the surgeries we are getting nowadays. Brain has got frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe, and the most important part of the brain, which has got a motor and sensory functions, and it has got all the other emotional functions in the midbrain. And the autonomic nervous system has got a major role in thalamus and hypothalamus. And so yoga's predominant role is in hypothalamus and in the brain. And endocrine and yoga go together because endocrine is a ductless glands. read ductless gland, Nalamilla Surapi in Tamil. And these ductless gland, they don't have duct. That is why they call ductless gland. See, cardiovascular system, heart is carrying blood by tube, brain is carrying information through nerve, but endocrine doesn't have duct. It goes straight into your bloodstream. They absorb. One example is insulin is secreted in islets of Langerhans and pancreas. That it gets diffused into bloodstream. That's the duct. Okay, like the pituitary, the master of endocrine orchestra. He is the great man. He is the president. He is the one who controls all the endocrine orchestra. Pituitary, which has got an anti-pituitary, posterior pituitary. Then we have a thyroid gland. Then we have a adrenal gland. Then we have a gonad. Then reproductive system. All things are controlled by hormones. And hormones is not controlled in yoga. So we had psychoneuroimmunology, and you coined a word called psychoneuroendocrinology because adrenaline, hypersecretion, hyperactiveness, all those things, it affects the psyche also. So endocrinology is very closely related to yoga. Gastrointestinal, gastro-stomach intestine is your intestine, large intestine, rectum, colon, all those things. They also, your appetite, your acid secretions, all those things are, they're all intertwined. Okay, so vagus nerve is a parasympathetic nerve that plays important role in your alimentary system, which others call alimentary system. Okay, respiratory system. This is not a major system. This is respiratory system. See, you breathe in, breathe out. It's involuntary. At the same time, you can also breathe. Take a deep breath, inhale, exhale. Our Sushla madam used to say, inhale, exhale. That still rings in my ears. And so that inhale, exhalation is done. It is voluntary as well as involuntary. And this respiratory system, it is the one which supplies oxygen to the blood. And without oxygen, that is pranavayu, no life. We see pulse oximetry nowadays during pandemic. We are all check pulse oximetry. Now everybody knows about pulse oximetry. The respiratory system and cardiovascular system, they play a vital role. Urogenital, kidney, bladder, and genital is production of hormones. Hormones only play a role in female periods and reproductive ages. Okay, that's a reproductive system. Sorry, they put it as general, it's a genital system. Reproductive system is the genital system. Bone and joint. A great word about bone and joint. See, joint pain is common thing in old age. Now it comes even in the middle age. And the practitioner of yoga, that's what's said in the book, they seldom suffer from joint problems. This is another preventive area. In preventive medicine, a person who is practicing yoga, asanas, mostly he can overcome joint pain. And greatest yogis, they never experience arthralgia, that is a pain in the joint. So the role of preventive medicine, the role of yoga and bone and joint system. Okay, now this is a fancy slide I created because being a medical man, we read anatomy. In anatomy, of course, we saw all the systems. The systems, anatomy is a study of internal organs. Morphology is outer. Okay, and anatomy is a place where we spent about 18 months those days. And in here, I like to pay my respect to Professor M.M. Cooper was my teacher, who was more like a father. He used to conduct every weekly classes. He used to treat us like a school students, and we owe a lot to him. Okay, now coming to yogic anatomy. In yoga, the koshas, pancha koshas, Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, and Manamaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha. These five koshas are the morphology. Nadis. Nadis is a word derived from Nadi. Nadi travels. So like that, Nadi. We have so many Nadis now. Okay, the Nadis. And chakras. Nadis are comparable to the veins and Ida Nadi, Pingala Nadi, so many nadis. And then comes the chakras. The beauty of chakras, uh, the chakras, there are 6 chakras, uh, chakras, and Sahasrara is on the top. Okay, Ajna Chakra is a place where autonomic nervous system means Burumatiya, Chittakash, they call it in the yogic language. And there are only 2 petals you see in Chittakash, Burumatiya, okay, in Ajna Chakra. See, probably this Chittakash, two lotus petals of the lotus, say, probably sympathetic or parasympathetic, which ends there in the Ajna Chakra. And this is the place of autonomic nervous system. From there only sympathetic starts. And each chakra, see, from the brain comes midbrain, then middle oblongata, then comes spinal cord. Okay, spinal cord goes through the vertebral column and ends in the sacral area, lumbar area. Okay, lumbosacral area. And the Kundalini Shakti, which passes through the astral chakras and astral neurological spinal cord. Uh, Now the study has shown there is a small little tunnel-like thing in the spinal cord called canalis centralis. Our sages about 3,000, 5,000 years before, they have discovered Kundalini can elevate from your Muladhara, from your Khanda, the 3.5 coils of a Kundalini. And when it is aroused by some Diksha or by practice of yoga, it gets elongated, it goes through the, Kundalini, the Shakti goes through the Nadi and it goes through the Sushumna Nadi and it reaches, it crosses all the chakras. This is where the chakras. It has to cross chakras. Between the chakras, there are little hurdles. Okay, and it has to cross through all the hurdles and go to the Sahasrara. I always used to say that this is like a feminine Shakti wanting to kinetic Shakti which wants to join the potential Shakti of Karma Shiva, and it has to cross through all the granthis and it has to reach that. It's a practice of yoga. This is advanced yoga. Okay, now let me compare our medical physiology with yogic physiology. Medical physiology talks about blood supply, nerve supply, nerve conductions, all those things. Okay, they're all taught in the secondary physiology. The same way, what is the one which passes here? Here, the energy. Yoga talks about energy. Nowadays, more about energy, universal energy, cosmic energy. This universal energy, cosmic energy is lying down in you, in your Kundalini as a individual energy. And once you understand your self, you will know the energy. And you can utilize the energy for all the positive actions. That will bring world peace, that will bring knowledge of self, that will bring good health to the person. Okay, now the energy. The major energies are called 5 energies. The energy is called prana. At the same time, the energy which is confined to the thoracic region is called pranic energy. I told you about cardiopulmonary or heart and respiratory. This is a vital area. Heart phase, every phase. Respiration phase, heart and lung phase, every phase. Finally, of course, the big master brain phase. So the pranic energy is confined to your chest area. Is vital energy. And apana. Apana is the energy from, as you all know, from the umbilicus to the anus. It is apana vayu, excretory. It removes because the toxic, which is the detoxification, all those things has to happen through the apana. Samana is a balance. It is between your chest and your belly button, umbilicus. Samana. Samana is balancing. Udana is the energy in the head. Energy. Udana. Dhyana is the energy. It is spread all over other areas like muscles, hand, all those things. Dhyana. வியாபித்திருக்கும் energy. எல்லா இடத்துலையும் வியாபித்திருக்கும். It is spread all over. Of course, Kundalini Shakti are all advanced Shaktis. It is at the perineum. It is between the anus and the genital openings. Okay. And it is primitive, it's a quite advanced yoga, Kundalini Shakti. Now, in preventive medicine, what is the role of yoga? I have to emphasize more on the heart and lung. Since I was doing training in USA, in cardiology in India, and Professor S. Tanika Chalam, I was trained in cardiology. So let us talk a little about the yoga, the relevance of preventive medicine cardiology. By deep inhalation, deep exhalation, the chest wall is straightened, and the chest wall has got ribs. Between the ribs, we have what is called muscles, intercostal muscles. See, the intercostal muscles has to be effective because as you advance the age, the muscles shrink. When the muscles shrink, your respiratory movement, like breathing in, breathing out, diminishes. When you're breathing in and breathing out, exhalation and inhalation diminishes. The lung capacity also diminishes. The oxygen going capacity also diminishes. So, the pranayama, this is more relevant to the respiratory area. The cardiac muscles are strengthened and the autonomic control of heart. Okay, what is the heartbeat? 72 normal. 72 80 can be taken as now. After you walk and climb upstairs and come to be a little more than that. That's all physiological adjustment. What a great Shakti in our system does it. Okay. See, if the heart rate is very fast, the filling will be reduced. So, yoga always brings down the heart rate. This is what I always used to say, brings down and normalizes the heart rate. And during pranayama, during asanas, and during shavasanas, your heart rate will come down. If you have done that, we have done a study of that. Okay, heart rate has to be maintained because the heart rate is 72 per 60 seconds. So, for one heartbeat, 72 heartbeat in 60 seconds. So, one heartbeat is less than 1 second. In 0.8 second, the heart beats. 0.7 seconds, it heart beats. If your heartbeat is very strong, it is about 5.5 seconds heart has to do the filling. What is the filling? The venous blood is coming. Listen to me. The venous blood is coming to the right atrium, and the right atrium it goes to the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. Then the right ventricle contracts. Then from the pulmonary artery goes to lungs, and the lung gets purified. Purified blood comes to the left atrium by pulmonary veins, and when the left atrium contracts, the mitral valve opens. It goes to the left ventricle, which is supposed to be the big chunk of heart. Heart will mostly mean left ventricle. And when left ventricle contracts, the blood goes through aorta to all the parts of the body. All these things happen in 0.7 seconds. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. This is the wonder of nature. Okay. Now, yoga. Elasticity of arch is maintained because from the arch of aorta only all the arteries, they take the origin. And capillaries are the small blood vessels which supply, like you have a big tank and big tubes, finally it comes to the tap. Like the capillaries, you can imagine like a tap. It ends in a area where it is supplied to the cells, then it joins with the veins and venous system. Deep breathing decreases sympathetic tone. That is when you take a deep breath and inhale and exhale. Inhalation is okay. So this needs a corrections. Okay, free radical scavenging. This free radical is one of the important topic. Okay, this is the heart. I told you. This is the left ventricle, right ventricle. Okay, this is the aorta which supplies the blood. This is the pulmonary artery. This is a pulmonary artery which carries the venous blood. This is the only artery which carries venous blood to the lung for purification, and it comes back to the pulmonic veins.
What are free radicals? Free radicals has a great relevance in preventive medicine, especially in yoga. And when I was a student doing a PG diploma in Annamalai, my university, alma mater, under the stewardship of HOD, Professor Viswanathan sir, I came to understand in regular practitioners of yoga have a very less free radical. Okay, what is free radical? There are a lot of chemical reactions. We mentioned about trillions of chemical reactions happen in our body. Amazing, isn't it? And all these chemical reactions produce some radicals. They are free radicals mean they are free atoms. And these free atoms disturb our body. They are sometimes good, but most of the time they are bad. And these free radicals only create vascular problem. And next one. This is a picture which will tell you about heart attack. This is slightly a medical picture. We'll just run through it. See, this is the cut section of a blood vessel. Cardiac vessels or any vessel. Okay, this is a cut section of vessels. This is of course coronary artery vessels. That's why we put heart. What happens? This is the blood supply. Imagine this is not there. Normal tube, this won't be there. And the blood is passing through this. Okay. This is atherogenesis. This is a diseased blood vessel. What happens? We have cholesterol in our body. Good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. HDL is good cholesterol. LDL is bad cholesterol. VLDL is much worse than that. Okay. And HDL cholesterol is a good cholesterol. It's like a policeman. And the small low density lipids, when they travel, this free radical join them. They oxidize them. And after oxidation, they come and irritate the inner lining of the blood vessel, the intimal layer, endothelial layer. And after irritation, they produce lipid formation full of lipid cells. And this is the formation of block. We call it atherogenesis. And atherogenesis form, but still the person is able to lead a normal life. But of course, he can't exert himself too much because of this blood supply is managed. And after some time, it grows big if it doesn't take care. And myocardial infarction is a total block. Thrombus and emboli, we don't have to go to that. And when it is fully blocked, you get a heart attack. Myocardial infarction, heart attack, because there is no blood supply. And that part of the heart dies. So, in preventive medicine, control of diet and all the yoga modulations when you follow, we can prevent or reduce the production of free radical. The free radical only is the main culprit. One more culprit, Dr. T. Nanish, is Clinton's physician. He's a man who promoted yoga in USA. I happened to interact with him. And he used to say, anger is atherogenic. And he used to take class. He's from Harvard, Baylor's College of Harvard. He's a Jewish guy. And he did an extensive study about yoga, lifestyle modification. And he used to say, anger is atherogenic. And what he says, during anger, you see the yellow layer, there are plaques, we call soft plaques and hard plaques. Okay? And during anger, when the pressure goes up, when the man is tensed, that can be a vasoconstriction. The blood vessel can constrict. When it constricts, this can break. And when this breaks, it will produce a thrombus, embolus. And that can totally block. We hear, no? That man got angry, suddenly came and shouted, I don't know why he shouted like mad. Immediately he fainted and fell down. They rushed him to hospital. Heart attack. So anger is atherogenic. And anger can be controlled by following yoga. So preventive medicine, yoga can prevent heart attack. This extensive study is done by a cardiologist from Harvard, Dr. Dean Anish, and we learned a lot of things from him. Okay, that's about heart attack. The same thing can happen in USS. Okay, now coming to another area. We spoke about heart, we speak about respiratory system. See, pranayama, pranasnayamana, it improves, expands, strengthens your prana by cardiorespiratory, and it's mostly respiratory when it comes to lungs. Okay, its respiratory system is system which comprises of lung and the lobes of lung and ending up with the alveoli and all those things. In cardiology, it ends up in capillaries. Here it ends up in alveoli. Okay, alveoli is the smallest unit in the lung where the gaseous exchange takes place. And see, pranayama improves the elasticity of the lung. Entire thoracic cage is toned up. See, and that's why breathing is very important. You see, even in the tension, when the person breathes nicely, it cools down because it's a sympathetic and parasympathetic, both are there in the breathing actions. So the elasticity of the lung, the thoracic cage, and your chest is strengthened. Chest is strengthened. Nowadays, people are used to computer; they stay in the place, and they say they don't even fill the lung with full air. There are areas called dead spaces in lung, about 50 cc area, which we never use. Only when we have a deep breathing, we fill up that area. Okay, so vital capacity is the other word for respiratory, your method of measuring your lung capacity. Pulmonary function test, we do it. So to avoid allergy, to avoid asthmatic attacks. In fact, during my yoga therapy research in Bihar School of Yoga, Shiv Darshan Yoga, we have done on COPD also. And a man who was, a word of caution with thing. We never stop the drugs when a patient is coming to us taking for any hypertension or asthma. This guy came to me with a problem about, he used to take about 10 to 12 puffs. Puffs are bronchodilator. Most of you would have known about puff. Like, it increases your lung capacity and it opens up the alveoli. Okay. And this guy, after learning yoga, he reduced the puff. I always tell the people, don't stop your medicine. You can slowly reduce the medicine. Being a medical man, I never tell anybody, because some people, dramatically, heroically stop the medicine and they say, I'm doing yoga, I'm not going to take medicine. No. Medicine you got to take if there's a problem. But by following yoga, you can reduce the dosage of medicine. Maybe a day will come, if you're totally alright, you can even have a least dose of medicine. And they even say, by practicing yoga, the brain cells get activated to the yogic procedure, which stays in your system. Okay, so elasticity of lung is improved, and oxygen saturation, because during yoga, heart rate is stabilized. So oxygen, there's enough amount of time is available for the oxygen to go into the blood. Okay, that is the beauty of pranayama. Increased duration for the gaseous exchange, and vital capacity is, I told you, vital capacity is the amount of air you can hold in your lung. The vital capacity is reduced because we don't do any active work, and people use a lift for even to the second floor. They do not improve the vital capacity. By doing pranayama, you can increase your vital capacity of your lung. And it also detoxifies whatever you breathe out. The waste chemicals, a lot of other products of detoxification, they are eliminated by breathing out. And ventilation, drainage of sinus. See, for people who have a sinus problem, like a nasal problem, like allergic rhinitis problem, deviation of the nasal septum problem, if they practice pranayama properly, they can even overcome Otherwise, they have to go for a surgery like face, and those days we used to do SMR, and by doing Anulom Vilom, it can prevent a lot of your ENT problem. And apart from all the general medical problem, it can prevent your ENT problem. And it increases the venous drainage into thoracic cavity. And diaphragm is the membrane which is separated. It's like a borderline, demarcating area between your chest and your abdomen. It's like a balloon. I think like an umbrella, you can imagine. Zoology students, science students, and most of you know, and almost all of you know diaphragm. Udara Vidhanam, they call it in Tamil. And this diaphragm is a layer through which all this penetrate. Iota penetrate, esophagus penetrate, all those things penetrate. So the diaphragm moves with your respiration, When you get hiccup, it's only a diaphragmatic movement. Hiccup is a diaphragmatic spasmodic movement. The diaphragm is strengthened by respiratory system, by practicing pranayama, by practicing yoga. And there's another fancy slide I created. It's a pathology, because in pathology means the study is, pathos means suffering. Pathology, physiology is a functioning of the body during normal activities. Pathology is a functioning of the body during disease. That's what it is. And in yogic pathology, what we do is energy flow in the nadis. Ida nadi, Pingala nadi, all those nadis, And so the energy, if it flows through the nadis properly, there is no problem. You will live well. And the energy also, flowing through chakras. I told you granthis. The granthis are obstructing. Like when you want to grow big, you have to go for a further check, and even if you're an athlete, they'll train you, even as stone, carbon stone, it has to be polished, then only it twinkles like a diamond, like that. The granthi, it has to pass through all the chakras, energy. Okay, in yoga therapy, in medical therapy, we have what? Diagnosis, treatment. Some diseases we have cured. Some conditions like diabetes, hypertension, their condition, their metabolic condition, their circulatory, vasculatory problem, they can create complication. So we have a medical management. And so in yoga, what is the therapy? Asana. Sukham, Stiram, Asanam. So many asanas are there. And for diabetes, there are asanas like Ardha Matsyendra Asana, which is one of my favorite asana. Being diabetic, I do that asana, Ardha Matsyendra Asana. Then some of the asanas are there. Squeeze your abdomen, Vakrasana, stimulate your intestine, stimulate your stomach, stimulate your liver, stimulate all your abdominal organs. Abdomen is called temple of mystery. Okay, along with the pranayama. Pranayama since energy, because in the beauty of yoga and preventive medicine is asanas move your muscles, move your body, move your joints, move your internal organs. At the same time, pranayama is another factor. You combine asana with the pranayama. You combine asana with the breathing practice. So pranayama combined with the asana, both are for body. And this pranayama supplies a pranic energy to the organ. That is why in yoga, we always tell awareness of the organ. Whenever you are doing yoga, you have to think of the organ. Through the psychic channel, the energy goes to the organ and the organ gets activated. There are so many organs which do not function to the full capacity. Yoga is the only system which will make the organ function to full capacity by associating asana and pranayama. Mudra is a gesture. Mudra is actually, this is another favorite area of mine. Mudras, several mudras are in dances and mudras are in yoga. And mudras, they block the energy. They don't allow the energy to get wasted. It circulates the energy. So many mudras. Mudras and asana, pranayama, all accompanied, they give great benefit. So, bandhas also locking energy, and these bandhas push the energy and maintains it in your body. Banda. And the Kriyas, they are Shat Kriyas. And I don't want to go into the details because all these things you would have learned in yoga classes. Okay, each one is a vast area. Jalandharavan, all this kriyas and all, no? In great details you would have learned because each one is a big topic by itself. Okay, let me talk about the Shat Kriya, which has a relevance in preventive medicine. Since the topic given to me is a preventive medicine, I want to confine to most of the preventive medicine. And Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati is a cranial cleansing. Kapalabhati, you got to do it little carefully. One thing is in yoga, you got to do all these yogas properly from a good teacher, from a well-trained teacher. Many people follow the TV and they do it. I may not advise it because there is, especially in yoga, you got to have a teacher. The teacher will teach you. Kapalabhati is removing the blockage in your sinus area and in your nasal area. You have sinus and I already mentioned about the deviation of septum, nasal block, all those stuff. Kapalabhati helps. Nethi. Nethi is a little advanced. Sutra Nethi, Jala Nethi. Okay, put one right tube one side and take it through the other side. And this is worked, miracle. Many people with the chronic sinusitis, people got benefited. So, Nauli, Dauti, Basti is the anal cleansing and anal cleansing, and Trataka. Trataka is a very good eye exercise. Moving the eye left and right, up and down, rotation of the eye, seeing a distant object and seeing a close object. The iris muscles accommodate. And one word of caution with the Trataka, people with the advanced stage of diabetes and with the retinopathy, they are advised not to do it. So, one important thing, once again, let me mention, Dr. Bradley is an Australian and he came to India and he was with the Beard School of Yoga. He changed his name to Swami Karmananda. And this guy has written a lot of books on different diseases and the yoga. And what he has mentioned, before starting yoga, you go to a medical man, examine yourself and find whether what type of yoga therapy you have to do. Because many people I have seen, they come and tell me, sir, I don't have hypertension, I don't have diabetes. When I check, the BP will be about 300. BP will be about 200, sugar will be about 300. And so there are certain asanas are contraindicated, especially the bending down asanas. Bending down asanas are contraindicated for people with hypertension. So always assess the patient. This is what when we did a small trial research work in Beard School of Yoga, where I said, Swamiji, first I will check the patients. I need all the parameters, the laboratory parameters, my blood pressure parameters. After that only I will advise them whether they are fit for all those things. That is a word of caution because many people innocently, nowadays yoga everywhere, you have to go everywhere there is yoga. But yoga is a great thing. I'm so very happy because 30-40 years before, people who have neglected us, now they are giving importance and for talking about yoga, and especially medicine and yoga. I come by, I take a great delight because I am greatly benefited. I had problem 33 years before when I had to go. Now I'm 73. 40 years I benefit. I wanted to pass on the benefit to the younger generation. So always learn from the proper thing. Before that, evaluate yourself and go to yoga therapy. Meditation is the key. Meditation. See, this all we already discussed about it. Yoga, autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is the sympathetic and parasympathetic. It's the automatic nervous system. Your heart beats without your knowledge. Whereas your hand, you move with your knowledge. With your leg, you walk. And your eyes, you see. But whereas your heart is beating with your knowledge, your respiratory system is working without your knowledge. And your abdomen is, your stomach is producing acid without your knowledge. Your food is digested without your knowledge. Your kidney secreting urine. These are all controlled by autonomic nervous system. And autonomic nervous system has a sympathetic and parasympathetic. You're sweating, your body temperature. So it plays a very important role. And that autonomic nervous system is there in your Ajna chakra. See how they play, how this yoga, practice of yoga brings the benefit the person. You can ask how this produces a benefit. See, you're a medical man, and this is yoga is a yogic science. And what is the link? A link is neurohormonal. These neurohormones are there in our body, like epinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, enkephalin, endorphin, GABA, glutamate, vasopressin, ACTs, angiotensin 2, and vasoactive peptides and neurotensin. Okay. Now here, you feel nice, you feel happy. It's all because of serotonin, endorphin, and you run because of your adrenaline. And these chemicals, I don't want to go to the great detail, they act in the thalamus, hypothalamus, and thalamic nuclei. And how they act is, they are called, thalamic nuclei, lateral nuclei, ventral nuclei. There are so many nuclei. These are all for advanced research work. And these chemicals, when they are thrown over that area, you feel nice. And when the same chemical is thrown excess, they become violent. These are all, they are called emotional centers. The emotions are in our brain. Emotions are interactions of neurohormones in your system. And yoga is the one which can definitely alleviate all your emotional distress and bring peace to yourself, peace to your mind, because this is the only one system which connects mind and your body. Like Dr. B. Ramurthy said, mind and the body. And the mind and the body are yoked together. That is yoga. And it is called yuja or yoking. And finally, mind and body connected to the soul. That is it. Okay. Now, what is the mind? We used to do a lot of work on mind. Now we understand mind is there in every cell. My Sanskrit teacher, I used to call him sir when he comes to teach me. And he used to call me sir when he comes to my treatment. I remember him now. He told me, he saw me interested in mind medicine. He told me, sir, I'll teach you something from Amrita Bindu Upanishad. This is from Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Manam evam karanam. Karanam should come here. It's a mistake. Manam evam karanam manushyanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind eva means only. Manushyanam. It's only for the human being, because all the animals, Swami Sachidananda, he used to, Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Swami Dayananda Saraswati used to say, human beings are deficient. Animals are perfect because they have 5 senses. Man has also 6 senses, which he doesn't use properly. That's the reason sometimes he's happy, sometimes he's angry, sometimes he's fighting, sometimes he's pleasant, because the 6th sense. So, and if you know to use your mind properly, you can lead a happy life. The meaning of Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayoha is, mind is the only reason for human being to get into bandha and bondage and suffer, or also get a release from bandha. It doesn't mean you got to leave your responsibility. You got to lose your responsibility. Bhagavad Gita Yoga, Karma Yoga talks about responsibility. Karmani eva madhikaram ma phaleshu vadachana. You have duty, you are right only to do duty, not expecting the results of your duty. See, that is also yoga. In the entire Bhagavad Gita is yoga. So you have to do your duty, but without the bandha. How you can do your duty with bandha? Bandha is attachment. What is the opposite word for attachment? Love. Love is opposite word. Bandha is attachment. So moksha is, by love you get the moksha. So I modified that as saying, mind is the only reason for people to get into disease and also to get out of disease. Doctor, this problem, this is the problem I am having, and they always concentrate about their body. The body is in the mind. Please come and tell me, sir, I am having pain here, sir, I am having pain there, sir. Suddenly you talk to them about this, what I have experienced in my medical practice. When I distract the mind, talk about something else which is very interesting, they forget the pain for some time. That's about the mind. See, psychoneuroimmunology is the one which is in topic during this corona pandemic. I have seen people psychologically strong. immune system improves. Psychologically weak people, of course, comorbid people, they only become the victim. Fortunately, now things are better. So, your mind has a role on improving your immune system by so many ways, by humoral ways, psychic ways, and neuromodulatory ways, and there are so many, so forth. So, in preventive medicine, psychoneuroimmunology plays a very important role, and one area which can give abundant supply of immunity is by your mind, and the one system called yoga which acts on your mind and the body. So yogic practitioner will automatically will have enhanced psychoneuroimmunology, immune power. Psychosomatic, this we dealt with already, how the mind layer affects your body. Because many times in the private practice we see the patient comes with all this complaint, and in a successful general practice, even if you have 3 minutes for a patient, 1 minute to listen to the complaint, 1 minute examination, another 1 minute talk to the patient, divert his mind, and when he comes with a 4 blanket feeling cold, and he will remove one by one. This I've seen in the clinic. Talk to them something interesting, or something about their property, or there's some disturbance. He will get into the emotional level, and he'll remove all those things. Then he'll forget what he came for. So this is the psychosomatic. So keep the psyche strong. Body will become strong by itself. Body becomes strong by yoga. Also teaches yogic dieting, sattvic dieting. Okay, you know about tamasic dieting, tamasic diet, rajasic diet, and yoga teaches about sattvic diet. That is diet and yogic practice. Next. See, we have come to the last slide. I talk about several scriptures. And once you understand yourself, we don't understand ourselves. We say, I myself did it. I myself I have seen it. It's all done by myself. Okay, fine. Yourself is your outer self. What is yourself inside? And sage Ramana Maharishi, Bhagavan Maharishi, Tiruvannamalai, he'll say, there are 2 eyes. I went there, I did that. That is your right eye, outer eye. Without that inner eye, self, you can't do it. My shirt, my pant, my thing. And you will ask, how many my? Then he says, ask yourself, who am I? I means the inner self. The inner self is life energy. A life energy, you can call it as a life energy because we are in the modern world, we talk about energy. And those days, Atma, soul. And this, let us talk, Atma or soul or energy. This individual energy is called self. When the self is not there, your body is dead, your body is gone. So, the outer body is like your shirt. You take the shirt, use the shirt and throw the shirt. Like that. In Bhagavad Gita, what it says, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani granati naroparani tata sharirani anyani samyati navari dehi. The self, like you take a new shirt, wear for some time, after that becomes old, you throw it off. Your inner self is called Atma, energy. That energy takes, after your death, it is believed in Bhagavad Gita, it takes another body. And it throws away the old body and takes the new body. Asamsi chirnani yatha vihaya. Like this. Navani granati. New body it takes. Okay. And Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, Sankhya Yoga, it talks about self. That's why I put the slide, Bhagavad Gita. The second chapter is called Sankhya Yoga. Entire Bhagavad Gita is all 18 chapters of yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all those yoga. Second chapter is is a condensed form of Bhagavad Gita. It says, it describes the energy or Atma or the self or the soul in 4 lines. Najayate Briyate Va. Najayate means no but Briyate Va. Because energy can neither be produced nor die. Energy is constant. One energy goes to another energy. The water force becomes electric energy. Electric energy becomes light energy. Electric energy becomes heat energy when it passes through the heater. So, Najayate Mriyate Va, no death. Nayam Bhutva Bhavita Vana Bhuyaha. This is ancient. When it came, we don't know. Nahanyate Hanyamani Sharire. When the body is dead, the soul is not dead, the Atma is not dead, or the energy is not dead, the energy goes. So, we understand ourselves and develop the positive qualities like love, care, prayer, a good prayer, and all these things is the need of the hour, because we have to take care of ourselves. And now, global peaceful situation, the world, first topic itself is harmonizing the self and the world. So, wellness of the world. The wellness of the world, there are so much of problems. Interstate problem, international problem, religious problem, dogmas problem, all those things problems. The only solution is understanding the self and developing positive qualities and be happy with your own self and love people. Finally, it is a love, Anve Sivam. Final word is love is God. Anithu Pugalam Andavunukke. All the praise goes to Him, goes to the universal conscious, goes to the divine conscious. Finally, Anve Sivam. Anbum Sivamum Irendenbar Arivilladar. People who do not know, they only will say, love is different, God is different. Anbum Sivamum Irendum Ondre Entre Ariyadar. They don't know that love and God are same. Once they understand love and God are same, they themselves become personification of God. With this, I end my talk. Thanks for patient listening, and love is God. Hello, madam.
Stand, no?
Delivery a wonderful lecture related to that day. Sir, it's a wonderful lecture. Now that if you want anyone ask the questions related to the topic, you can ask it.
We'll call.
Any doubt?
Everybody, hope you all
Any doubt?
unmute.
If you want to raise any question, please raise. Now I request Sheila Madam is there.
See the participants. See the participants.
You can see here itself. You can see here itself.
Yeah.
Some of the
Sir, hello, sir. Susila madam is not in the meeting, I think, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Myself concluded the session.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, on behalf of Annamalai University, on behalf of the Center for Yoga Studies at IQAC, I thank to our respected Dr. He delivered a wonderful lecture related to the psychosomatic disorder, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, and how it is related. This yoga is related to the preventive medicine and how it is controlling all.
Somebody asked what is Antaratma?
He delivered very wonderful manner. I thank on behalf of the Center for Yoga Studies as well as the IQAC director and then the organizing committee members and everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
We'll see only the questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Right, just now entering, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, Ethirajan, sir. Thank you, sir. கேட்டீங்களா? Okay.
Do you hear me? There is somebody asked me about the arrhythmia heart problem. Be cured by yoga? See, basically, I'm a medical man. We are talking about preventive medicine, whereas arrhythmia, it depends on what type of arrhythmia. There are so many kinds of arrhythmia, like atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, ventricular fibrillation, and supraventricular tachycardia, and it is a subject of a cardiologist. And if the arrhythmia, there are benign arrhythmias, there's not much of a problem. There are malignant arrhythmias which got to be cured, and you got to take anti-arrhythmic drugs under the consultation of your cardiologist. It all depends on what type of arrhythmia, like a heart block, like a Mobitz type 2, all those things, they need medical management. Of course, it can be managed with a lot of medicines. The latest medicines are available. Class 4 anti-arrhythmic drugs like Cardrone available. So it can be cured, but you must see a cardiologist and evaluate and take the right medicine. Somebody asked what is myocardial infarction. Myocardial means the muscles of the heart. Infarction means the death of a small part of the heart. It's called infarction. And infarction is produced by like a plant. You have a big garden. You have one particular plant is drying out. That is dead. You say that that plant is dead. The same way, a part of the cardiac muscle which is dead, myocardium is muscles of the heart, and it is dead because of lack of blood supply. And so myocardial infarction is a medical emergency. It has to be treated, and medicine has to be done. And what the Dean on study and many studies have done, that they are able to see it's a 3 stages myocardial infarction. One is an injury, another is ischemia, and injury and infarction. Ischemia is sometimes reversible. Injury is a middle stage. Infarction is almost total death. And we can minimize the size of the damage to the myocardium by, now I have to talk in a medical way. What is called, the golden period. Golden period is within 4 hours. If a person gets a heart attack or a stroke is the blood supply getting reduced to the cerebral arteries. Okay, paralysis, we call it. Okay, and if this is a block produced within 4 hours, if they rush to hospital, almost 90% we can prevent greatest loss of heart and your limbs, and by reperfusions. Okay, so what is important is immediate care during that golden period. If you go late, that damage is lost, and if you go very late, the damage is extended, and you use a large portion of cardiac muscles or the brain tissues. Okay. Prevention of myocardial infarction is control of BP, control of sugar, control of your fat. My professor K.P. Mishra, who has done a lot of work on this yoga and the Vedas, and he is the one who motivated me early. And he used to put only he said salt reduction, sugar reduction, smoking nil, and sedentary habits, sitting in the place. Now the present day malady is everybody is glued to the computer, and they don't even walk. Glued to the computer, keeping chips, keeping this, that, and eating. Added to that, no movement, adding fatty food, and becoming fat, and this fat can go and block the vessels. So you have to modify your lifestyle. You got to modify your lifestyle. Modern technology advancement we have to utilize. You have to spend time with the computer, right? Fine, you allot your time, and don't keep on staring at the computer for 4-5 hours. It will affect your eyes. Keep something green on the side. Okay, now it is inevitable. You got to reveal the modern world, all those things, but you got to modify your lifestyle. That is the way to prevent. And regular health checkup is another way of preventing the problem. People come and say, "Sir, நான் நல்லா இருக்கு. எப்போ மருந்து சாப்பிட்டேன்? Sir, I stopped 4 years before because I became alright. How you can become alright? You got to check. If you have BP and hypertension and diabetes, you got to take medicine. Maybe you can reduce the dosage of medicine by modifying your lifestyle." That's answer to the question.
But he's asking what are the asanas to do that?
Asanas for myocardial infarction. Okay, so once again, I like to remind about when we started yoga research work. A small trial in about 20 years before, not 20, 30 years before. We told them that a lot of asanas are contraindicated if you have a disease. So, Pavana Muktasana series 1 from the Via School of Yoga. There it is meant for patients, where we avoid bending asanas. When you bend down, your blood goes to your head and it disturbs your cerebral circulation. It also affects your cardiac circulation. So bending asanas, if you are a patient, you can follow this Pavana Muktasana series 1, where you got to sit and do asana. Sirasasana is a taboo. Bending asana is a taboo. And even Kapalabhati also, any dynamic and violent movement are contraindicated when there are comorbid conditions. Nothing after that. No question, no?
Thank you, sir.
Enough for this.
If they have any queries, they can always get in touch with the host and take them on board.
Sir, now I request Dr. Venkatachalapati sir to propose a feedback and vote of thanks, please.
So,
Respected sir.
Thanks to all of you. All
Sir,
the
are you hear my voice, sir?
Thanks to my
Dr. Uttarajan, sir, are you hear my voice?
Yoga Center and the Yoga Center, and I see my beloved Professor Venkatachalapati sir. Sir, I owe a lot to you, sir. You're my brother, you're my friend, you're my teacher. I remember the days in Yoga Center. You used to take me in the evening to all the divine places, and you took me to Natarajan temple. You gave a glimpse of Chitampara Rahasyam, and you showed the Gopuram, 27,000 tattvas, and you used to take me to the Samadhis. It's still fresh in my memory. So, Yogi and Mahayogi and the dynamic Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, all embodied in my teacher, Sushila Madam. And thank you, thanks a lot for giving opportunity. And the greatest respect I give to, in the Vishnu Sahasranam, the first word is Vishwam. Vishma, as the names of Narayana. He said first is Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkaro. Vishwam, Professor Viswanathan, he is the key person for creating Yoga Center. And he is 7 Tattva, what he taught on the inauguration day, starting from meditation, visualization, creativity, and many more things like listening, playful activities, and 7 Tattvas, what it is, reflections, all those things got into my mind. And he put the entire yoga in a nutshell in 7 lines. So thanks, and thanks. I'm given opportunity to be associated with all the divine personalities. Thank you, sir.
Sir, on behalf of Annamalai University and Center for Yoga Studies and organizing committee members and organizers, and on behalf of IQAC director and deputy directors,
Sir, I can't
and
hear, sir.
participants,
I don't know.
I thank you,
Muted
sir.
somewhere.
You are today. You are delivering a wonderful, enriching, enlightened lecture. It is very useful to that present yogis and future yogis. Once again, I thank on behalf of the Center for Yoga Studies and my friends. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable presence over here with us. You have explained in a
Thank you, madam.
scientifically
Thank
how
you.
functioning. Definitely, it will reach to the participants. We are having a very good positive feedback, comments from our participants. Thank you, sir. In future programs, we will contact you. And,
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you, sir.
with
We'll
us,
meet very soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Dear participants, a feedback form for the attendance purpose is already posted in the chat box. Those who are not sent, please fill up the form and send it, because it will be available another 2 or 3 minutes only. And those who are not send a certificate, because based on your certificate form only, you have to receive the certificate, because you please mention all the data correctly, then only you will receive the correct certification. So those who are not completed the certificate procedure, please send as at the earliest. Thank you, participants, for your patient listening and giving cooperation. So tomorrow is the last day. Then we have a 2 session and followed with the valedictory section. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Shall I leave, madam?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.